Well, that was a bit different, really. Thank you. Becky, thank you to Jim for making that for us. So we actually also, by the way, this might interest some of you, because these streams go on for a little while. You might want a little intermission to go off to make a cup of tea or have a piss. So we've made an intermission for that so that we can all bugger off. I'll give you plenty of notice. So you can all go off, put the kettle on, make a drink, go to the lav, do what you got to do. So that's coming up later on. Aren't we excited? Reset stream. You are having trouble starting your stream. But of course, let's try that. Otherwise, I won't be live streaming tonight on Odyssey, which I shouldn't be too surprised about because of reasons. Fucking hell, am I breathing shit? Actually, should take one of these. So, have we had a good week? The channel has. Yeah, we're having problems streaming to one of your... Okay, so it looks like Odyssey's off. That's a load of bollocks. Don't worry, we'll come up with something between now and then. It's just fucking standard here. Why should I be surprised? Reset stream, see if that happens. If it doesn't work, fuck it. Never get this part right. Anyway, right, let's carry on. What do we got? So, tonight... Remember that copper, what they call her, Nana, that police officer to apologise to teen after viral TikTok? Well, that was quick. I haven't even set the phone up yet, ready to take the calls. Oh, fuck, shave on. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I kind of thought that I was going to get through a few stories first, but what do you know? Let's just see if we can set this up. Professional, as always. Let's see. We're living out. I really did think I'd actually have to do a few stories and nobody. Fuck me, we're at 418 already. I have actually been in touch with YouTube, by the way, to see if I can get live streaming functions back. I've had a strike on my channel that's lasted there for 3 or 4 years. And when you ask it, they haven't given you any information. Don't know what it is. So they're looking into that and looking into to see if I can go back to live streaming on my main channel. And there you go. And Dave's obviously just chucked a fly. So that's nice. Well, if that ain't going to work, I'll fuck that off and have that over here. So GB News has done a thing on this. See if we can show you. Present. There you go. Do it that way. Try again. That one. There. So you remember the woman, the woman that this kid said that she looked like a lesbian, basically. And you remember she went fucking postal. Well, it seems that because obviously the parents of the family had the common sense to actually shove a camera and put it on TikTok, it's the power of social media. It's one of the positive things that social media can actually do, because without the girl's mother or whoever it was videoing this, that person would still be out there being this sort of shit-ass copper without any sort of comeback. By the way, we are going to try to go for record numbers tonight here, whether we get them or not. Hello, Rotten. I also saw that Steve Laws was in. Hi, Steve. And the phone's pinging away. So the girl's mother recorded the incident and uploaded it on TikTok with the footage going viral, which it did. We all did a bit of it. The West Yorkshire police officer who arrested a teenager for saying she looked like her lesbian nana has apologized to the 16-year-old. God, that would have hurt, because you could have seen it in her face. She fucking hated that kid. Didn't look much like a mother herself, if there is such a look, whatever. Anyway, the 16-year-old family is to undertake, she's the copper is to undertake reflective training. That's a new one. What is that exactly? Look in the mirror and have a look at yourself and go, I'm a bit of a cunt. Might work. Following an investigation by an independent office for police conduct, the IOPC. The arrest happened in the girl's home in Leeds early hours, Monday, August the 7th, and went viral. And her mother uploaded to TikTok the video of her daughter being detained by 7 officers. Okay, now a bit of overkill. Outside the family's house, charged with homophobic public order. Is that what they tried to do her for? The autistic girl was seen to be highly distressed. Yeah, I'd say so. And was crying and screaming. And apparently there's something wrong with her as well, and they were twisting her up. In the footage, which prompted an angry online backlash, the officer accused of heavy-handedness, you could say, as the girl cowered under the stairs in her own home. Yeah, okay. Look at the state of it. Look at that thing. The formal complaint was made by the teenager's mother about the incident, and she said her daughter is not homophobic and is saying that the female officer with short blonde hair looked like her lesbian nana, which meant that the officer looked like her nana, who is a lesbian. Kind of common sense, really, wouldn't you say? Apparently not these days. But that one looked like she was going for blood, and she looked quite satisfied that the kid was in distress. She actually looked like an evil fucker, and there has been footage of her since with I think, was it the pepper spray, spraying it at people and just losing her shit. I would say that she's probably somebody who likes power and shouldn't have it because she's after power. The girl was held in custody for 20 hours. No further action was taken against her by West Yorkshire Police. The IOPC has now completed an investigation and found the officer did not have a case to answer for misconduct or gross misconduct, but that she should undertake a reflective practice, that's a load of bollocks in it, to reflect and learn from the incident to prevent any issues identified from a reoccurring. And as the action fell short of the expectations of the public and the police service, yeah, basically, people are going to be looking at that and going, well, she got off well. But if you've seen any of the other footage of her since, there's the kid getting twisted right up there. Not good. Yeah, if any of you actually seen the footage since then, that woman is out for blood. So I'm imagining that quite a few people here are of 40 and above. If you're thinking of retiring, this one might be of some interest to you. Let me have a look. Britain's warned the UK state pension will have to be lower and paid later. And we got a call. Hello.
Britain's warned the UK state pension will have to be lower and paid later.
Hi, Simon.
All right, mate. Can you just turn the live stream off in the background, please, bub?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
No worries, mate.
All right. Lesbian nana.
Yeah.
All right. The retraining is going to be sat down by a line manager, is going to be a sergeant.
Right.
All right. Okay. And have a pep talk. And that's all the retraining is going to be.
Oh, well, that's quite involved, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very involved, isn't it? Well, because there's no charges to answer to, so they can't fight over to the IOPC. And the IOPC, you know, they just sweep everything under the carpet anyway.
Yeah. I don't have any faith in the police anyway. It's rarely you ever actually hear or see anything where you think, fuck me, they did a good job there. I mean, it happens occasionally. But yeah, I mean, the caliber of a lot of police, they can't, they're overweight. They're, I'm dying. They're politically driven. And they're not up to much. I don't know. Have you had any? Anything?
There's been these documentaries on Channel 4 I've been watching, like To Catch a Copper. And it's been inside the internal investigations of even Somerset Police. And
which I know quite well. Well, I used to anyway.
Right. Well, you watch the proceedings of what they actually do, right? Okay, when they catch one of their own doing something wrong. And it's quite alarming, actually, because even the chief inspector turned around and said, right, okay, we should be doing more. And, you know, if a chief inspector's turned around saying, well, we should be doing more, well, why aren't you fucking doing more?
Oh, well, they'll blame it on all sorts of stuff. Haven't got the funding, haven't got the support, whatever.
Oh, so. No, fair play, because they didn't blame it on that. What they did say is because the CPS let them down a lot, because they want to, you know, forward cases onto the CPS. And the Crown Prosecution Service are saying, all right, okay, well, no, actually, that's just, you know, misconduct. It's not actually a criminal offence. When it is, even the chief inspector said it is criminal. So even we get let down by the CPS as well, which I know personally, or okay, through a case of my own. So I understand.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, when I was involved with the police, it was all my fault. I deserved everything I got, and it was pretty cut and dry, really.
Yeah.
Were you doing it? Yeah. Something happened, London Bridge. Apparently, I'm just getting some interesting news come through.
Are you?
Hang on a second.
Right.
Bear with. Right. Something's happening, London Bridge. Apparently, Charms mentioned it in chat. Right. Okay. I don't know what that is. We need some Charms send information. Cheers. She probably at work, so she can't. We'll look into that in a second. But yeah, regarding to the police. I mean, for an instance, why would you have even brought a case against that Sam Melia for the stickers? You wouldn't have even brought that, would you?
Well, you wouldn't. No, of course you wouldn't do.
So,
no.
But no. So you say you've had some experience with the police? I'm taking it was negative.
Yeah. Well, we've spoken before. Okay, and it's only because my daughter. I don't want to mention that, but yeah. So I had a lot of negative experience with them.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny. Well, it's not funny. To me, it's amusing because if I don't smile, I fucking cry. But you know, I got to meet the director of prosecutions for the Northwest, and he actually said to me straight up in my face, "All right, okay, sorry, we can't stand up this prosecution, all right, okay, because there's not enough police back into it." And it's like, fucking hell, what else do I need to do?
Yeah, and it makes you feel if you're a different, perhaps demographic, or you're a different gender, you know.
Yeah, because I'm a crusty old white male. That's exactly what it is. Because I'm a crusty old white male, and I don't mean it horribly, but I'm not a racist. Right? Okay, I've got a lot of friends. Right? Okay, from different persuasions, and all of them agreed. Right? Okay, you know, apart from a couple, but all of them agreed. Right? Okay. There's a case there. There's a case there, and you know,
so
it is what it is. We had to go.
So as it stands at the moment, you're not going to get a result.
Well, my daughter's all right, okay, under the care of Maggie Oliver, so she is going to get a result,
right?
But it's probably not going to be the one what we expect it to be.
Oh.
And we've all been, you know, pre-geared up for that. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, hopefully it will go well. But if it doesn't, I don't know what to say, mate.
No, listen. I'm beyond caring now, Simon. I'm beyond caring. All right, okay. Well, I'll quite happily go. Well, I won't say what I'll do, but
yeah, that's not. No.
Yeah. I'd quite happily go and do that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's by the by. But as regards to okay, to the lesbian nana, right, going back to the lesbian nana, sorry, because you got waylaid on different subjects.
All right.
But, she's on a power trip. She is definitely on a power trip.
She
needs
loves
to
it, doesn't she?
Office.
I'd say she's got psychotic tendencies. That one has.
Yeah, well, I've seen the way she pepper sprayed the 4 people. Right, okay, who weren't even attacking her, and even the other officers turned around and looked at her. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, she's right off it, isn't she?
Oh, she's completely off her nut, mate. I think what it is, right, okay, she's got away with something before, and she's just carrying on. It's like, you know,
invincible.
I'm the most powerful. Yeah,
she would have been the sort of person I'd like to dropped in against the miners back in the day. You know.
Oh, I can imagine they beat her fucking black and blue.
Allegedly. Right.
Well, allegedly, yeah, exactly. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Right,
we have to be so careful.
I know, and I don't wish any misjudgments on anybody, but yeah. Infatuous Day, right, okay. She would not been on the cold face, put it that way.
Well, she might have ended up there, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
mind you,
not the gulag.
The way she looked, mate, to be quite frank, because you know the blokes used to go up on the cold face. They'd have probably thought she was a mush and chucked her down there anyway. Go on, girl, get in.
They probably would have done, all right, okay. You know, I'm trying to be kind, all right, okay, but she looks like a bulldog chewing a wasp.
Yeah, can you imagine if whatever her partner has to go through? Because she's definitely the dominatrix.
No, I wouldn't even want to know. I wouldn't even want to know.
Now I'm going to throw it out there, but I don't think she likes men. I just get that feeling, right?
No,
we'll leave it at that,
no.
Right? But so I would suggest that she's the bloke. I'll leave it there. You know, I think that's about as far as I can push it on that one. But yeah.
Well, I'd probably say, right, okay, she's not the rug muncher. I think it's somebody else doing the munching.
Right. Now, actually, it used to be. There's a different terminology for it, but we won't get into that, especially not now. But anyway,
okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, what can I say? No worries, mate. Well, look, if you get anything more you want to talk about, give us a shout. Call back in. All right, buddy.
Simon, all right, okay. It's always appreciated listening. All right, okay, and I'll speak again soon, mate.
No worries, mate. You take it steady. All right.
Oh, don't worry, I'm in the chat, so I'm just listening in.
All right, you get stuck in. All right, see you in a bit.
All right, kiddo. Take care, mate. Bye.
Now, before we go any further, do you know of anybody who's schizophrenic? Are you schizophrenic in whatever variety? I don't know enough about it, right? But I've had somebody who's asked me to do a video about mental health. And the person's saying that they're not getting the help that, you know, they should have. And I'm wondering, is this a thing? Is this something that maybe you've experienced through yourself or a family or whatever? You know, give us a shout. Let me know. Hang on. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Hello, how you doing?
All right.
I
Simon,
yeah, I can hear the live stream in the back, mate. You might want to mute that a sec.
just turn it down.
Okay,
I'll
bud.
just turn it off. I've been waiting all day to phone you this evening.
Okay.
This is Trevor the plant.
Oh, I spoke to you the other week, didn't I?
Yes, I'm the
Retired.
police officer that phoned you the other day.
Yeah,
Retired, yeah.
Yeah, this lot loved it, by the way. So they were hoping you were going to
Oh,
call
did
back.
they?
So result, yeah, well done.
I've been waiting all day to phone you to you because I'm thinking now, what a gutless society we are. To allow the Islamists to do what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Lee Anderson now has stood down. He's been sacked basically today or yesterday. What does it take for red-blooded Englishmen to stand up and be counted?
I can't honestly answer that anymore. I don't know.
What does it take, really? I am 74 years of age, and I'm quite prepared to still be a foot soldier.
Well, you know, to be somebody who's useful, and I've got to use the right words, as you appreciate, to be somebody who's useful and dependable. I mean, you haven't got to be the youngest person in the world to do anything, right? To be a person of use, you haven't got to be out there fighting anything. Okay, and I'll make that clear. You haven't got to be out there ironing things out or fighting or breaking the law. There is so much that can be done without doing that. But take, for instance, today, right? At the moment, as we're speaking, from what I can gather, the pro-Palestine mob have let off flares in London Tower Bridge and closed it, right? Now, why are we even giving a fuck about somebody in a country that's so far away that we couldn't give a shit? Now, our own government were voting for whether there should be a ceasefire and worrying about their borders. But when it was talking about our borders, 3 of them rock up. They're actually actively trying to flood this country full of Islam because they plan for Islam to take over. I was sent because I actually think it's going to be the old folk actually that are going to achieve a lot and start and achieve things before the youth actually cotton on.
Do you know what, Simon? I think they're eventually going to drag old boys like me out and blokes in their 40s. They're going to drag us out of retirement, and I'll be up for it to basically get this country back on its feet again, if that is possible. If I was a foot soldier now at 74, and I had to I'd be kicked to death fighting for my country, the survival of my country, then at my age, I'll do it. I'm disgusted at this country. I'm disgusted at other Englishmen in this country.
I am.
Where is red-blooded Englishmen? I mean, the fact now, because Parliament now is under threat through what Lindsay Hoyle said, all of a sudden now they're talking about grooming gangs. That's now being mentioned in different spheres.
Well, it's 40 years too late, but fucking hell,
I know. I mean, I think the first case in Rotherham and Rochdale was in 1973, 50 years ago. This has been going on.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
And I say I'm an ex-police officer and also ex-military as well. So I've stood on the front line. I've done my duty, and I'm prepared to do it again, Simon. I won't rabbit on much longer.
No, I'm going to read you something, see what you think of this, right? I was sent this by our friends over in Ireland. It says, Lady Bradley Sharia. It says, Lady Bradley, Sharia law should rule Ireland. And in the event of a Muslim majority, a senior Islamic cleric has said, the legal system derived from the Quran is implemented in a number of Islamic countries to varying degrees, from beheadings in Sharia, is Saudi Arabia, to more liberal attributes. But the thing is, I've been warning for 5 years, 6 years now about Sharia law taking over here, but it's a lot more advanced over in Ireland now. I'm trying to word this properly. How do you think the average UK citizen would feel when they woke up tomorrow and it went out in the news that we're converting over to Sharia law? All of you have to change. That,
That's
for me,
right.
would be the end.
Well, I think that is the case in the east end of London, where I used to live, already. Because on lampposts, they're putting up, you're now entering an area controlled by Sharia law. That's on lampposts.
That makes me angry. I'm sick and tired of watching what I say. I hate it. What I really want to say is the truth. Fuck off with your Islamic shit. We don't want you. We never asked for you.
If you don't like this country,
fuck off.
If you don't like this country, leave.
Yeah.
Leave. Please just leave.
They don't like anywhere they go, though, Trev, do they? They don't like anywhere. Everywhere they go is not fucking good enough. They've come from some bombed out third world shithole, and they've come for a better life. And the moment they get to wherever they go and they turn it back to the third world shithole they just come from. Oh, I'm getting my... Sorry.
Simon, I'm sorry. I'm so worked up about this, what's gone on this week. In part, I mean, I'm so angry for us, our people in our country, that, as I say, ex-police officer and a veteran.
Who are they serving now, do you think, Trevor?
Sorry?
Who are these politicians serving now, Trevor, do you think?
Well, nobody, this is being said all the time, but nobody seems to know who, because let's face it, people like Grant Shapps and even the so-called Prime Minister, unelected, these people aren't actually in charge.
I've got
it's big people behind them. Who are these people? Nobody seems to. People say this, but nobody seems to come up with an answer. Who are actually pushing these people?
Well, I've got something for you that might answer that question. Actually, now there's 2 clips here. I'm going to see if I can play it, and it's basically our shortest Prime Minister ever, letting us know just how useful the Prime Minister is. Right, let me see if I can put that on. I'm hoping I can get audio of this. If I can't, we're fucked. Bear with me a sec.
Okay.
What I found
no problem.
out when I got into number 10 is I thought that if I got to the top of the tree, I would be able to implement those conservative policies.
So you think once you're Prime Minister, as a little girl, I was thinking, if I get Prime Minister, I'll be like Churchill, I'll change the country.
Exactly.
That's not how it works.
Exactly. And what I discovered was that I was not holding the levers. The levers were held by the Bank of England, by the Office of Budget Responsibility. They weren't held by the Prime Minister or the Chancellor. And I think that's a massive...
Right. So she's just said the Bank of England is the one that holds all the power. Now, remember, I think it was last weekend I was talking about this. If you look at the House of Commons, you'll see there's all these different people in here that are MPs and obviously a few servants. And there's one person that sits on the bench there that isn't an MP. That person's from the Bank of England. And that person goes back and reports on the day's business and if anybody stepped out of line. If we live in a democracy, why is that person even in there? They're irrelevant. They're not needed. But it shows we are not controlled by the puppets that we put in there for the cinema, if you want, for the theatre or whatever it is. We're actually controlled by banking, and you have to look at the lineage of that banking. And we're also controlled by the back offices, which are absolutely real with Marxists and also Islamists. So we're kind of screwed, which leads us back to our thing. What are we going to do about it?
What are we going to do about it?
I can't say on it. I can't honestly say on it, mate, but it'll end up, everything always ends up in violence. And nobody wants it.
Of course it does. Of course it does. But we know that that doesn't resolve anything.
Nope.
But the way we are, what does an Englishman do in this country today? Do we let these people take over and destroy our democracy?
It's not an option.
Politicians won't do it. The police won't do it. So it's going to be left to the common man in the street, isn't it?
Yes. It's not an option to just hand over our country to either Jewish banking or Islamists. All right. It's not.
That's right.
It's not acceptable. It cannot happen. Now, I don't mind there being Jewish banking. Don't mind that problem. I don't mind that at all. And I don't mind people from Islam if they're sorted, right? Because we've had them here that long. You can't just expect people who were born here to go somewhere else. It's not doable. But we have to make sure that, and people aren't going to like me saying this because there's so many fucking atheists, but we have to make sure that Christianity is the religion of the country and other religions, whether they may be allowed to practice them, right, discreetly, they're not allowed to cause shit on our streets, because the moment you do, I'll ban your fucking religion. That's my policy, right? And the thing is, I would come down so hard on Islam, right, and there would be a kickback on it, right, that you would make everybody from within Islam suffer in so much as you're not allowed to practice your religion, right, until, and you make a proviso, you're not allowed to do anything about this religion and practice it until you give us all the extremists. And then when you calm your tits, and when you stop throwing your wobblers, and when you start asking for things that you shouldn't fucking have because you've got no rights, because you put the white indigenous people of this country first, or the British first, right? That's how it is, right? Once we're put first, and you need, we were talking about this on a back channel, you need a, what is it they've got over in America? A book of the Bill of Rights. We need a Bill of Rights or something like that, right? So that we can actually refer back to it and go, no, actually that, right? So whatever you think, you're not interpreting it, there it is. That's Bill, this one, write that one, whatever. I don't know how it works exactly. Something you keep going back to, which Daddy Dragon did say about this, and he is right. The Constitution, right? Okay, but the Constitution at the moment isn't worth a squirt of piss, but it should be. So we need something like that we can revert back to and go, here's where our law is, here's where it is. We put our indigenous people first, then you lot, you can come in second, all right? That's the way it is in any normal country. And basically say to Islam, you will get literally stopped until you give us all your fucking lunatics and you calm your tits. And if you don't like that, right, fuck off. And incidentally, while we're there, I'm funding it. If you have to go on the dole, but if you come to this country, you won't get dole for 10 years. That might put people off. But if you are on the dole, you get enough payment for you, 1 missus, 2 kids, like anybody else. The rest of your missus and your kids, tough shit. Not my problem. And you have to make sure that it's such a shit idea to come to England, right, for the sponges, for the extremists, and for the non-workers, that they just will fuck off to another country. But it's going to take some serious fucking people, right, that don't mind being called all the names under the sun. Now, I you know, when somebody calls me a racist, I quite like it, because I know they haven't got a clue what they're talking about.
Oh, so do I. And my argument is, Simon, if you call me a racist, say, yeah, I'm a racist. Why? Because you think I am anyway. So even if I deny it, it's not going to get anywhere, because you believe that I am. So I'll be what you want me to be. Well, if you want me to be that, then I'll be
when
that.
you say yes to them, they're fucked, aren't they? Because somebody goes to me, you're racist. Yeah. But you're racist. Yeah. But you're a racist. Look, you idiot. You sound like a broken record. Well, we've established this. And the fact that I'm not a racist, and the fact that I would not have a problem dating anybody of any different color as long as they were lovely, right? You know, you don't pick love. Love picks you.
I used to. I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if you found somebody that was truly gorgeous, you loved them, they loved you, there it is. So it's not about a color thing in so much as I just realized that the whites have been oppressed. So I've got to stick up for them. So, you know, it is what it is. But the plan is this, and it's working really well. Flood our country with superior numbers of Muslims, outbreed us, and scare the living shit out of the weak, right? And just tell them, if you don't give us Sharia law, we're going to hurt you. That's what they're thinking, right? We will start to wreck stuff, burn stuff, get all stabby, throw our toys out the pram, do what they usually do. Okay? But unless you give us what we want, and then we'll be all right. But that's not the case, because they never have been, because then they'll come in with more and more extreme rules. And then they'll go through a backlog of people who talked out about Islam, and we'll all be dead, right? I'm one of them, right?
And I'm another one.
So,
and I am another one. Thing is, Simon, sorry, I just completely, I'm so
it's
mad
fine.
about this.
It's fine, mate.
I lost the plot there. Well, you said the other day, I watched all your programs, and you said that one day you'll get into politics.
I'm going to, yeah. I'm going to go into it.
I'm telling you now, Simon, myself and my family, we'll be voting for you. And that's not me blowing smoke. That is a fact.
I hope there's a few more. Paz said he'd get into politics. We made a deal together that he would do it too, right?
Well, Paz?
Yep.
I was watching it tonight, yeah.
And he said he'll do it, and I think he will. And there'll be a few others from the likes of, you know, the right, YouTube, whatever you want to call it. And I won't care what I'm called, or the death threats. You want to come and kill me, you kill me. I've had nearly 49 good years. I would consider dying for my country in that respect. If somebody took me out, right, I would consider it an honor. So, you know, and you would make me a martyr, just like you lot want to be martyrs. So fuck it, right? But you know, you want to stick a bomb under my car, it goes with the territory. But I won't be scared, and I will get on and basically I will call them out every given opportunity, because I have to be honest, I don't hate Muslims, I just despise Islam. There is a difference. Muslims are trapped within Islam, right? And I don't think all of them want to be there.
No, that's right.
And
I've been on the front line, so you know, I won't carry on much longer because other people want to get in. I've been on the front line, and I've been in 2 serious riots with purely Muslim riots in London, and there was absolutely no reasoning with these people whatsoever. It was complete bedlam. There was hundreds of them.
They understand one thing: superior force.
Exactly, and they know. Do you know what? They know how to do it. They know how to.
Because they can network, can't they?
Exactly.
I mean, I consider every one of these churches, or sorry, mosques, as an outpost for an army. I consider that they have their doctrines that get sent through, what their plans are, where they're going with it. They indoctrinate everybody there. We're winning the war. They are, right? There's no illusion here. They're winning the war at the moment, right? And they're actually telling them most of the time, don't make a mess, don't cause too much trouble, because we're going to win this without any sort of raising a fist at this rate. We'll win it politically, and then when we get to 50%, we'll claim Sharia law. That's it. Game over. We've won. So, you know, it is what it is. So we will have to do something.
I'm going to let someone come on now.
All right.
As far as my big thing is grooming gangs. I can't stand the thought of young girls being treated like this. And I'll tell you what, I can't say on this program or any other program how I would treat these people once they're caught. I would love to deal with these people, and I'll tell you what, I'd butcher them, to tell you the truth.
Do you remember? Do you remember when we used to do flogging?
Exactly.
That would make law, right? And I'd make law that for rape. Doesn't matter who you are, what color you are.
Yep, that's right.
You get that, right? Anybody who's nonced a kid, because you've ruined their future, basically, unless they're a seriously tough cookie, right? You've wrecked their future. So that's almost like taking a life, as far as I'm concerned. So I would flog them, and they'd be breaking rocks in a quarry until the end of time, as far as I'm concerned. I'd make examples of the bastards.
So I'm going to have to go now because I'm quite hot under the collar, and like yourself, you have to be careful what we say. I've had a hard life, and I've mixed with hard men most of my life. I'm not talking out my backside. I'm not talking tough because I'm sitting in an armchair. I'm just ashamed of fellow Englishmen who are not prepared to stand up and fight for our democracy. Okay, it's not easy to orchestrate it, but I'm really disgusted at the fact that we are literally rolling over belly up, really. Yeah. Anyway, so I've said enough. I hope it hasn't been too inflammatory.
No worries. Well, look, call back in if we, especially if we get anything about the police on, but call back in and get it off your plate. That's what it's here for, mate.
Okay, Simon.
Right, well, Trevor, you anyway, carry on watching and say hello to the family, and I'll speak to you hopefully next week.
Will do, Simon. Definitely. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries, buddy. You take it steady, all right?
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I like him. And there we go. There's another. Hello.
Oh, hi. Is that Simon?
It is indeed.
Oh, hi. Sorry. I didn't think I'd actually get through. Honestly, I've never done a call in before, so
yeah, straight through, sir. Straight through. Yes, well done.
Oh, wonderful. So I'm just lighting a cigarette.
No worries.
I'm sorry, I don't want to disturb my mother. She's 75 and she's just come through a cancer operation, but she's done really well, which is good. So, but I just wanted to say that the other callers, like they're true patriots of Britain, and we need more people like this with what's going on with today's culture, with what's happening with our country and all around the world. But this country has, I was born in 75 in Guildford, and I remember the old days of, you did something bad, you got smacked for it, you know, you were told off, you learned from your mistakes, etc. And yeah, of course, back in the day, of course, it's to do with isthmus again. Well, of course, we had them back then. And of course, most of the time they were decent people. You got your odd people like you do with any culture. But over the years, it's got to the point where it's become almost just a blind joke to me. I work in the movie industry as a small-time actor. A bit of everything, hand double, body double, stand-in, light stunts, etc.
Yeah.
But even now, I'm getting less and less work, and I'm finding it harder and harder to make ends meet, basically.
Is that because you're not the right color? And I'm not taking the piss. Is that what the case is?
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't actually know whether to say that.
Yes. Yeah. At the end of the day, they're starting to replace white people in historic roles with people of a different color, aren't they?
Yeah, it's become a woke joke. I was in Disney productions myself. I'll call myself David just because, if somebody from the movie industry does watch this, I could get blacklisted from the industry. So I've got to be just very careful. But I get 3 to 5 jobs a year now, and it's getting so hard to make ends meet. I almost want to go and get a part-time job, or maybe I was even tempted years ago to sign on the dole at one point, but I just thought I don't want to take anything from the government because I can't even trust the government anymore. So I didn't even want to do that. And I worked my arse off to get where I am now. Things were going really well for many years. I've been doing this 10 years now, and now it's falling apart.
Wouldn't it be nice to have Wouldn't it be nice to have a traditional or sort of right-wing leaning TV industry where we would make all the stuff look like it used to, and basically have actors talk proper sense rather than like the more woke stuff that they've got to? Because the film industry, I think, is taking a hit because nobody wants to watch Anne Boleyn be played by a black woman because it's historically bollocks, isn't it? Or James Bond be a black woman or whatever. You know what I mean?
That's another thing I've been afraid of. I've been waiting to find out who the latest Bond actually is. And I kept saying, please, just don't make it a woman or a black woman or a black man, because no offense, Bond is a traditionally white gentleman. He always has been portrayed that way. You can't just suddenly change things, especially historical figures, and just suddenly say, oh, they were always black. And it's like, no, they weren't.
No, they weren't.
We know they weren't.
Yeah,
We've got historical proof that they weren't. And now you're trying to go back as far as Cheddar and beyond that, saying that they were this and they were that. And it's like, oh, come on. We know that
Cheddar's up the road from me, and it's like, I just like, fuck off.
Exactly.
You're boring now.
To be honest, we moved from near the London area. I was actually in Wokingham originally recently, but my brother lives up here. We're now near, we're in Derbyshire, basically. My mum wanted to be near my grandson, my brother's son, so she can see him more often. And because of her age, it's easier for me to live with her. But personally, I can't even afford the rent on a flat nowadays. It's ridiculous. People would think if you work in the movie industry, you earn a lot of money. No, you actually don't. And it's a lot of hard work goes into that industry. And the thing is, I put sweat and tears into doing what I've been doing. And you can work an 18 to 20 hour day sometimes. You'll come away absolutely worn out and have to get back up again at 3 in the morning. You'll be back on set for 5 in the morning, and you'll do it over and over again. And it's a great job when you get it. But unfortunately, the problem now is what I was going to try and get into really very quickly, because I know you've got a lot of guests who probably want to talk as well, is the fact that Christianity in our country has always been our main heritage, basically, our main faith. And we've had mosques taking over Christian churches, tossing our Bibles onto the street, tossing our shit into the back garden, destroying it all. One Quran gets a scratch on it, and they go ballistic.
And they want to destroy the family. Because it's a religion one's blood, isn't it?
Yeah, and the way they always treated their women, the way they treat their children, and they call themselves a religion of peace, and it just makes me laugh. To be honest, I've even been thinking about buying body armor just to have something in case it all kicks off, just so I can defend myself if it ever gets into that situation.
To be fair, when I went up to Speaker's Corner, I went up with a stab vest because I was dressed as a vicar and with a load of other fairly interesting men, and I was delivering a speech to them, calling them all a bunch of cunts. So, and they actually gave me an applause, probably because I was surrounded by about 14 or 15 really hard football lads. They didn't like those apples. And like anything else, they like it when it's all in their favor and they're cutting a woman's face because she's converted from Islam to Christianity or whatever. But they don't like it where blokes have gone up there hoping that they would do something, not actually actively going there to do something, but they went there so that we could deliver our speech, and we did. And so did Richard Inman.
And good on you for doing it.
There was me, Richard Inman there, and we were like, well, if it goes off, it goes off. And there was Glyn, he was there. And it was like, this could go wrong, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then, then all the police rocked up and were like, we've got to protect all the Islamists. There's fucking jihadis there and you want to protect them. Fucking assholes.
Yeah, I've just heard that they've just shut down London, what is it, Tower Bridge or London Bridge?
Yeah, the plasticine's out and about, isn't it? But I mean, where'd you start with that shit, innit? I mean,
I know. And the thing is, when it comes back to the police as well, do you know, when I was growing up, you know, I did my stupid little things when I was a kid. You know, when you first get your license, you're a bit of a dick behind the wheel, etc. You get pulled over, blah, 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 talk crap, you know.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I had a lot of respect for the cops back then because they were there to do their job. And they did their jobs. Now, they won't even investigate a house crime. They won't even investigate an attack. Yet one single weird bit of hate speech, oh my God, they're suddenly on your door like a riot squad.
Yeah, everything's going.
Yeah,
and it's like, really?
And you don't have any respect for them anymore.
Not at all. They're politically driven. So, I mean...
And to be honest, I don't know how you feel about this, but we need Sunak out. We need Sadiq Khan out. We need Hamza Useless out. We need somebody... I know.
I'll say it. White. We need a white person in there. Do you know why we need a white person?
Yeah.
Because they're more represented. It's like this. Why is it that we've got so many BAME, right, and Jewish and Pakistani Muslim type, so many people in positions of power, and yet when you look at the demographic, they're not. It's not level. It's not equal. It's not right. And it's like, are you giving these people positions because you don't want to look racist? Are you doing it for a more nefarious reason? Or are you doing it because you're a woke cock? You know,
exactly.
It's one of the reasons.
I mean, not everyone I know is a Donald Trump fan. And to be honest, before he became president, I wasn't a fan either. But when he got into power, he did everything he said he was going to do and he stuck to it. And we need somebody like that to come in and literally say, if you've come in on legal terms, if you're willing to make a difference in this country, if you were born here, blah, 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 you know, fine, no problem.
I mean,
at all.
He should have built the
happy
wall,
to
right?
have you.
Right, and he couldn't. I get that. And he said he was going to drain the swamp, but he couldn't. But he said he was going to, right? But he did a lot for, like, the black people had more work than they've ever had. You know, the unemployment went down and stuff. And it's like this.
Yeah.
If you were a Mexican that spent 10 years trying to get into that country legally, you did it all right and you struggled like fuck, you're going to be pretty pissed off to watch a bunch of the old Mexicans piling over the border because some woke fuck decides it's a great idea. Because you're not going to get the people come in that you want, the standard, the quality. You know, the people that are willing to prepare to do it all legitimately, spend money and struggle, they're going to be the ones that are going to get a job, assimilate, and they're going to love the country and the flag. The ones that just pile in for free shit, they're the ones that are going to end up in criminality and just bad eggs. So, fuck it, innit? It's what I mean.
Exactly. And now Sadiq Khan's trying to do something stupid like, what is it, pay per mile crap, stuff like that. People like, you know, yourself, myself, and everyone have to go into places like London.
And yet it's not had any effect on the pollution there, but whatever. So what we'll do is extend it because it makes more money.
Yeah, because once you pay, you're still going into those zones with a polluting vehicle, so it's not making a blind bit of difference because you're still polluting the atmosphere.
Do you know,
it's just a joke.
If I hadn't had this channel, because I had my my number plate doxed, right? And if I hang on a second, let me just do that. If I hadn't have had this channel and threatened with it, then I'd have ended up paying for 2 lots of fines for my vehicle that weren't even there. And I do wonder whether it was one of those unlucky things or targeted. But anyway, it is what it
It's what it is. But yeah, it's just one big cash grab scheme as well as everything else going on in Britain right now. But anyway, I don't want to carry on and go over the top, obviously, because there's lots of things I'd like to say, which are obviously I can't really say. But it's a pleasure talking to you. And it's my first time ever ringing in on a YouTube channel before.
So I hope it wasn't too stressful for you.
No. It's like I said, I work in front of the camera all the time, but no, it's just I've never done a YouTube call-in before. But honestly, it's a pleasure watching your channel and keep up the amazing work you do, mate. And honestly, I know that I speak for a lot of people. We're all behind you behind this channel. So
cheers.
Keep it up, mate.
No worries, mate.
Thanks again. Take care of yourself, yeah?
All right, buddy. You take it steady. See you in a bit. So somebody said here, was it? You make money out of this channel, Rev. This channel, Rev on a Rant, probably make about 20 quid a month. Hello.
Hello, is that Simon?
It is indeed.
Well, good to hear your voice, dude.
Hey,
You're a legend. Yeah, I'm not too bad, not too bad. Dude, I reckon it's the structure of power that's controlling the world at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds.
Yes.
That's what it is.
But they can't do everything on their own, right? So you get all the different banking, which a lot of it does date back to them and others, because there's quite a few families. It isn't just the Rockefeller and the Rothschilds. There's quite a few of them that you need to know about. And yeah, they all got similar lineage, right? But these people can't achieve anything unless other people could be bought and do their work. And this is the thing that we need to understand, that if people weren't baseless people that were driven by money, then none of these people would have any power at all. That would be that.
It's power. It's the whole game of power, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, really, you look at the WEF, all of this bullshit. How do you control the entire planet? You say, oh, well, it's the carbon dioxide, it's CO2.
How is it 1% of the population decided they owned all the planet and the rest of us had to pay for it?
Because the governments have been selling themselves to this family for decades.
Yeah,
hundreds of years.
Well, they've bought everybody in power, so they own everything. They own all the alleged opposition to each other and everything in between. They own all the wars. Basically, if there's a war that goes off, they fund both sides. It's
exactly Federal Reserve.
It's so big.
Bank of England. That's owned as well. The whole power structure of the world. So you can't vote your way out of it, really.
Nope. You have to affect them financially, first off, right? So, but there's a few.
You don't care about. It's not money. It's power. It's the power game, isn't it?
Yeah, but here's the thing. All this big globalism. So, say for instance, we all go and buy everything online, right? That's not good. If we could go local, that would have a massive effect. If we stopped going to big firms like the Asda's, the Tesco's, and stuff, and started to buy locally. All right, there isn't at the moment anybody who's doing that. I mean, I went down to the butcher's and spent 60 quid on meat today, right, for myself. That should last a couple of weeks, but I'm buying local in my local village. But there are people doing it. Believe you me, these shops are busy. However, if we all did it and bought from the smaller shops, we'd pay a lot more money. I get that, but the bigger shops, the things that are controlling the farmers and ruining the farmers at the moment is an agenda put through from a powers above that go to these big companies, Tesco's, Asda's, Morrison's. They all get together and they all decide how they're going to drop down the prices on all sorts of stuff. So the farmer literally loses money as the milk goes out, right? If we could...
Yeah, they make like 140 quid a year or something. Was it Jeremy Clarkson or something, Clarkson's farm? He made like 100 quid for the whole year's work.
It's amazing, isn't it? Which is criminal, right? But if we could circumnavigate these people, because they're a bit like the tax man, when we buy stuff off each other, say, for instance, I buy something off you and give you a tenner, they're missing out, which is why they want to go digital, right? So they can still rip you off, right? Yeah. But if we were to say, for instance, be able to get the farmer to sell to local to us, cut out these wankers, I don't mind paying extra for milk. If it keeps the farmer going, because at the end of the day, without farmers, we're dead. We're fucked. That's it. It's game over.
But it's having the infrastructure to do it, isn't it? And they own the infrastructure.
And this is why they slowly but surely offered us cheap stuff, right, and got us into being lazy years ago. And I say it was late 70s, early 80s that big Tesco's and Sainsbury's and stuff started popping up, didn't it? And this is when the rot set in, because your mother's like, well, it's got everything under one roof. Why should I go anywhere else? Rather than trudging through town and going through all these different shops and then wheeling all the fucking shopping back to the car, it was a lot easier. So I understand why people did it. And it was very clever of them. But we're now in a trap where many of the shops that we would have got our food from are all gone, and we don't have an option. And that worries me.
I'm old enough to remember, the milkman would come to the door.
I remember buying milk off the milkman when I was out at night. So,
you get glass bottles, and then they get sterilised and replaced. And then you go down to the greengrocers and everything would be in a brown paper bag. So
yeah, do you remember £1 like that? And they're always shouting something out, and then you get your fucking apples and your bananas and whatever it is, and in a bag, and you spin them around, wouldn't he? Right?
Yeah, exactly. And then they stop that, and they make us feel guilty for it, because the only option is to buy 4 pints of milk in plastic cartons. You haven't got the choice of getting it, in a glass bottle or anything.
Well, back in the day, they worked out that those electric floats weren't efficient in the end, and that's why they put out petrol motors, because they were actually cheaper to charge up than the electric floats. But then when they said, because I think I did something about 2 years ago, they came with this novel idea that they just thought up, that they were going to deliver our milk to us in glass, which they were going to recycle, and they were going to do it on an electric vehicle. And this was all brand new idea. And I was like, you fucking what? We've been doing that for years. And the reason they came out, the electric motors, is because they were so fucking expensive to charge.
Yeah. They were a bit shit back in those days as well. But I mean, they could do that nowadays with no problem,
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's still fucking cheaper to have a cheap diesel fucking thing running around than it is one of those petrols. Not petrols, electric, because they've worked out it is, and the amount of draw that those things take. So this battery policy is shit.
It's the carb, the CO2 in the atmosphere. We've got to remove that. I asked this guy, he's sort of all green and all of this sort of crap. I said, do you know what percentage of the atmosphere is actually carbon dioxide? He goes, oh, I don't really know. What, sort of 5%? Don't know. It's 0.038. That's the percentage.
And we do need this for
and if that drops below 0.02, that's when plants start dying.
We need carbon dioxide, right? The thing is, there was all the way through the history of the planet, right? The temperature has gone up, and carbon dioxide and all the rest of it's buried, right? And what they did was they waited for it to hit its lowest, and then they took the measurements from that point going forward. So they go, oh, well, it's going up. Well, if you'd look behind, it was right up here. We're only here, right? So we're nowhere near. And this planet has a natural way of regulating itself. This is why we have like currents in the ocean, like the Agulhas current. This is why we have the jet stream and whatever. The planet has a way of dragging its hot air over to its poles to cool itself down and regulate itself as it does. This planet has lived many, many years when we weren't here and did just fine. And if they're really thinking that the industrial age has done a load of damage to them, I mean, obviously backfilling, because you can offset your carbon footprint with a different country, and that's all well and good. So you just get them to take your debt. But when we send our plastic, all our recycled shit over to India and think we've washed our hands of it, haven't we done a great thing? And all they do is just push it into the ocean.
It's kicking the can down the road. And you look at China as well. China and India, they're responsible for like sort of 80% of the planet's pollution. Pollution.
And you know what? When somebody says something to you, they're like, fuck you. What are you going to do about it? And we're like, well, nothing actually. Exactly. Now keep giving us your plastic and we'll keep throwing it in the ocean. Happy days.
Exactly. The European Union, they've given them like sort of a developing country status to China. So it's cheaper to get like, an 18 pence bit of plastic shit shipped over halfway around the planet than it is to buy something locally, which is insane.
Yep.
It's deliberate. It's just a complete deliberate attack on everybody in this planet. I mean, the whole thing is satanic. It really is. The Rothschilds, they're all demonic people, the whole family. They're not allowed to marry outside the family.
So that's inbreeding for you then?
Yeah, I'm here.
And what does
sorry, it's my phone break.
No, I said, so they're inbreeding then, and what does that usually do? That gives
psychotic
exactly.
defects. Your first, second cousin. So even if there's a problem or a collapse, whatever, all the money is still in the family. All the power, all the control stays in the family.
Mm-hmm. Now, they're all allowed to have trusts and stuff, and you can't really investigate their trusts, so they just make money and they don't pay, like in the same way that we would.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the money goes
There's
off.
got to be a way of tracking it. There's got to be a way of getting in on the inside. Somebody is working at the Treasury. Somebody is on the inside that can get access to this. HMRC, who works at this company, who works at Google, who are these clowns with this ridiculous,
if somebody came out of there, if somebody came out of there and spilt the beans, it'd be like that bloke that came back from Iraq saying there's no weapons of mass destruction that all of a sudden killed himself. You know what I mean? It'll be
yeah,
like somebody going up against the what they call it, the Clintons, isn't it? They all of a sudden kill themselves, shoot themselves in the back of the head twice with the left hand and stuff.
Yeah, the undecided. Yeah.
What a
I mean,
terrible
this is a game of
space.
power, isn't it?
Yeah, it's evil.
We can't do it from the outside. We can't attack Google from their servers. We can't attack Facebook. It's got to be. I mean, this is what they've done to us. They've poisoned us from the inside. If you read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, you know, the whole strategy that they've got to completely corrupt and bring communism to the Western world.
Mm-hmm.
We need to sort of use the similar strategies that they're using. But they've been doing this now for decades.
But don't you think it was funny
that
the First World War, well, the Second World War, was meant to be a bulwark against Bolshevism because they were terrified of Bolshevism because what it had done to the Russian royal family, right? And these rich globalists didn't want any of that. They didn't want that ruining their thing. But now they've worked out that they can use their version of Marxism, communism, socialism, call it what you want, their ism, their hybrid of bullshit, and they'll be able to take everything off everybody, and we'll be too dumb to fucking fight back. And they actually worked out that this time, this is what they think, is that they'll control the means of production, the banking, the means of everything, and they'll give us nothing, and then make us go back to being serfs, which is what they want. And they seem to be under the dumb fuck illusion that people will just take that. But never in the history of the planet have people put up with shit when it's got so bad. They, in the end, lose their shit and they go postal, right? So
it's never been so global. You know, it used to be sort of what this country or that country or this region. It's never been this global all at the same time. Certainly not Western countries. We used to have our government that was on our side. It would be, oh, there's the enemy. We fly over, drop some bombs, come back and hope everyone's safe. But now they're inside the fences. They're up our up our backsides with this. They're invested everywhere. This is just a game for the Rothschilds. I reckon the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds have probably got like a £1 bet who can destroy Western civilization.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
This sort of thing, because when it goes beyond money, it's only about power. And they're just doing this out of hatred. Well, I mean, they are evil. It's not a secret that they're Satanists and stuff. So really, I mean, it's difficult just to stay calm, isn't it? So I think, but it's good to have other voices around the place. Yours is one of them. I've only been watching the channel for a few months, but I'm loving it. It makes me feel that I'm not alone. Where I live, like 98% of the population is diverse. So, you know, things kick off and stuff. I'm certainly not safe here.
No. So yeah, this is it. I mean, I'm lucky where I am.
It's only going to take a spark to be somewhere in Europe, could be in the UK, who knows? But one sort of event, Black Swan or what have you, and then it all kicks off everywhere.
I would imagine it'll be Germany.
I was an aid worker back in Yugoslavia back in '94, and that was a mess, dude. That was a mess of picking up people off the roads and stuff like that, bits of people. It's horrible. War is a bad, bad thing.
Yeah, nobody wants it.
But the thing is, how can we stop these things? We can't vote them out. We can't ask them nicely. So
it will end up in a terrible thing, and I can't say the words on here for legal reasons. So
all I can think of is strategically, we've got to do to them what they're doing to us.
That's going to take some doing.
The inside, isn't it?
And the thing is, all of this is recorded by them, right? So our phones are recorded. All of this they watch, right? And they're looking all the time to see where do people go and what ideas are they coming up with, and they'll counter that. But the thing is, something will happen, I think, over in Ireland or France or Germany, and they'll start doing something, and they'll start to have a battle with their government, and at which point, if it starts to work, our government will shit itself and bring about martial law. And many governments will. They'll lock us all down, like the last lockdown, but a proper one. And if you come out in the street fucking about, you will be in a whole world of pain, because they will not have us rising up. But the thing is, if we see another country doing it and successfully doing it, it will spread, and that will be the key moment, the Black Swan or whatever it is, where it will go. we'll have a world war, but not like before. And it will be
like before.
Lots of small things. But I think
the thing is, we're playing a game of chess. I mean, the players like the Queen and the King, etc. They're sort of parliaments, their powers, their governments. We need to change the people playing the game, the chess players. We need to get up to that level. I'm not playing this on a 2D board game of chess.
Mm-hmm.
It's the players that we need to go after and get them changed. And once they know that we're onto them,
we need genuinely decent people to go into politics as well. So say, for instance, we could get up and stand, whether it be independently or what, I don't know, and have lots and lots of us stand, right? Then things might change, because if they come up to me and they say, right, we are going to do a hit piece on you, we're going to ruin you unless you do what we say, I'll say, well, then fucking ruin me. That's the way it is. And, you know, yeah, they could come out with whatever. I'll be like, yeah, whatever. And
we need our own private lines of communication. This is why the government's so upset with the Signal app, because there's literally no information about the source or destination. And when Signal were brought in to the courts and stuff, and they said, right, okay, we need you to provide information with who this is going to. And they just handed them a load of numbers and said, well, we don't know what that means. So there's nothing. We need, a lines of communication that we own and control. The Signal is available online.
I remember Signal a while back. That was going to be the thing that was going to be the next WhatsApp, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sort of is, but the government have had a word because they don't like people talking to each other where they can't just read all the communications. This is why they've shut down pubs. They don't want people socialising and talking. That it's got to be on Facebook, or it's got to be on WhatsApp, where they've just Zuckerberg, he's sold everything, isn't he?
See, the thing is, the pubs were our church, right? So the Muslims have got their pub, their church, where they all go and they all network. And where do we go? Because they turned us into atheists, so we can't even go to our church because nobody goes anymore. And even if you did go to the church, right, you're lucky if your vicar actually doesn't chat complete shit and is a commie. So
yeah, there's a lot of that that's going on, but there are a few good men. But the thing is, they've got to be quiet as well.
Which pisses me off. I mean, we can't all stay quiet forever. This isn't working.
No, well, this is where the flashpoints come in, doesn't it? And it all just kicks off. But, I think there's got to be a strategy to take them down.
And we can't, and even if there was a strategy, I wouldn't talk about it on here because it wouldn't give it away.
No, indeed. You just got to outthink them, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's no good doing it through politics. I think there's got to be other strategies. This is where pubs, we should meet up. If you're in London at any point, maybe you are a Londoner, we'll meet up and have a pint.
One day I will do a tour, but I'll need a load more people subscribe to me before. Otherwise, there'll be like 2 people turn up wherever you go. So, I mean, hi mate, yeah, but yeah, when I've got a few more subs, because if the channel carries on at the moment the way it is, and especially if they give me my live streaming back so I can go out on my main channel. I mean, if you think we got 14 between the 3 channels at the moment on YouTube that I'm going out on, we've got 1,481 people watching from a channel that's got, is it 12,000 subscribers on this one? This is unbelievable fucking views for a small channel, but that's because people don't want to watch the mainstream anymore. And also people are looking for any sort of hope, am I the only person talking this? Is other people feeling this way? Good. I'm not on my own. That's the first key. The first thing is to make sure everybody realizes they're not alone.
Yeah. They want us to think that we're on our own. They want to call us we're all bigots and sexists and racists, or a whole sort of lot. I'm not, I mean, I've got a daughter she's half Iranian. So, I'm not racist in the slightest.
Well, I mean, but, at the end of the day, people in Iran have been through enough shit. Do you remember when back in the day, 1 minute it was nice, next minute Iran got radical Islam and fucked up?
Yeah, it was Ayatollah Khomeini, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, Mr. Happy Bollocks. They got fired out of the place and had to go in exile, and then came back and turned the place into the Middle Ages. Brilliant, excellent work, well done. I mean, what is it? Is that Black Pigeon Pilled? Oh, I thought it was Black Pigeon Speak then. Yeah, he went from being a nice like jewel in the area, looking lovely, and the women all nice and nice place to go on a holiday, to being this fucking hateful place. And all I remember was as a kid watching them like hanging out of corners, shooting AK-47s up the fucking road, and there'd been bombs going off and rocket launchers, and I was like, that doesn't look very happy there.
And now we've got them all over here doing the
Yes.
same thing. If you notice this is happening, then it's because you're a racist.
Well, naturally, but I'm quite happy to be called a racist because it means absolutely zero fuck all to me. It's whatever kind of thing.
But I mean, the thing is, you've got a network of people, and that network's important because there'll be people listening now that do have positions that could be useful. And this is where, if we've got secure communications. I used to be a video games programmer.
Right.
I'm a bit rusty now, a bit old, a bit retired. But I think what we should do is have an app that we can communicate with.
They would literally pull it apart, wouldn't they?
They would. Well, they will have to give it a go. But
to be honest,
it's not
mate,
going to happen
unless we're talking about Doom. Doom's about as good as I get, by the way. By the way, before we go any further, I could ask everybody, you got 1,500 people watching now. If you could all just press the like button, that would really help me out. Thank you very much. Cheers, please. So, yeah, go on, buddy. Yeah, I mean, CB radios. Everybody can listen in, but, that's what we used to use.
And that's broadcast unless you got a license and stuff.
Well, when you're at war, you're going to pop down a chemist, or not the chemist, the local fucking whatever. It says, can I have a license for this illegal transmissions I'm going to be making? You don't mind, do you? The only problem is they could triangulate, as you say, and not just that. When you got this big wobbly area on top of your car, you're going to stand out like a fucking hard-on, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't think the mobile phone system is going to be any. I mean, that's just completely not good, and the towers are going to go down. There is what's it called? It uses satellites. Slipped my mind. I've got it on my.
All of that stuff will be stopped. Do you remember in the old days when we had mobile phones and there were public phones? That in times of an emergency, they shut down the mobile network and they only let the landline payphones work. So that it was to stop mass information getting out, so they could control the narrative should there be a problem.
These things use satellite, and they can relay, and they're really low power as well.
Right.
Once I remember it, I'll post it up to your site or something.
What's the other thing they used to have? Ham radio.
Yeah, ham radios. That's a sort of similar thing to CB. Again, you need licenses for that. I mean, it's not really my thing, but I mean, I do know that communications is going to be important. Whether we get locked in place, if they're going to do another lockdown or something, this disease X or whatever they're planning next.
Well, we'll get that. Dare say, just when you least want it, just when your business is getting back on its feet, they're going to fuck the economy up again. Anyway, mate, I'm gonna get on to the next one because we got a load of other people trying to call in at that.
Yeah, nice one. It's good talking to you, mate.
And you, buddy.
Wish you best of luck, and hope to speak to you again.
Sure, speak to you soon. All right.
Okay.
See you in a bit, mate. Oh, what do you do? How do you talk to each other? Do I go ahead with the next story or not? Yeah. So we went up to 1,500 at one point. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm just phoning up. We've had two farmers, on the tractors from Carmarthen up to Cross Arms.
Yeah.
And I was watching them in work while trying to follow them on the traffic cams that update every 10 minutes. I caught one glimpse of a couple of tractors. And then the photos never changed. The pictures never changed on the rest of them on the first one. And the second one this week, all the traffic cams are down. So you couldn't follow them where they were.
I'd not thought about that, looking at the cams. Because these are all geared up not for us. They're against us, aren't they? So anybody, did the tractors get to where they wanted to? Did they get any problems?
No, they were fine. I mean, they didn't completely block the dual carriageway because they don't want to annoy,
Well, you've got to try and keep people
public.
on side at the moment, don't you?
Yeah. So they were in one lane, went up, went back, was fine. And then this week, they went up round the town and they closed down the road by the Welsh Government building in Carmarthen. And I think the police said there was an incident, but I can't find any other information. I've watched the videos when they've come back on YouTube, and there doesn't seem to be anything happened. So why the police were saying there was an incident, I don't know.
Well, I don't trust the police anyway, but I think what's going to happen is they'll come out, they'll prove their point, they'll protest a bit, and then in the end they'll just block up all the distribution centers, and we'll all end up basically fucking hungry. Whether that will get their point across, because I think what they're trying to do is get their point across to the supermarkets that you can't keep taking our goods for free, which is pretty much what they're doing. And they're obviously going to try and get that message relayed through the supermarkets further up the chain to, I don't know, European Union, our government, whoever it is that's trying to cripple farmers. But I'd like to, I hope that it works for them. But whether it will, I don't know. It might if we get involved and help them out, but on their own, they need more help.
Yeah, and it's going, trying to buy direct from your farmers, from the farmers' gates or, farmers' markets and stuff like that, and cutting out the supermarkets.
Yeah, stop their profits, stop the greedy bastards.
Yeah.
So somebody's saying, how did the IRA communicate? They went to each other's houses, or they spoke on the phone in code. Pretty much it. Sorry, I'm just relying. So anyway, so other than that, was there anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it. I just wanted to say that's what they do in this area.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on them. If anything does interesting happen, let us know.
I will.
All right, lovely. Well, thanks for calling in. I'll speak to you in a bit.
No problem.
All right, lovely.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Have I still got the heating on? I think I have. I was wondering, I was feeling a bit. Hello?
Sorry, phone back in.
Okay. What?
I'll just turn it off and you can speak to somebody else.
Okay, no worries. See you in a bit. Cheers, mate. Right, I'm going to turn that heat off. I was thinking to myself, it's a bit fucking hot, isn't it? What's going on? Hello?
Hello, Simon.
How you doing?
My name's Paul.
Hi, Paul.
I'm a 55-year-old UK Armed Forces veteran.
Right.
Where do you start?
Fucking hell, yeah, especially in your job. I don't know.
I signed up years ago.
Right.
I got into trouble years ago with the police. You remember the days when you went to Borstal Youth Custody, Youth Detention Centres. I ended up in a place like that.
Right.
Then I went to work on a building site. Life was dire back then. It was sort of late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
To straighten myself out, I decided to join the forces, which I did. Anyway, did my basic training. One of the proudest days of my life was earning my berry. Parents there, family members there, proud. I suffered, me and several others, we suffered traumatic brain injuries, which include severe trauma to the brain, obviously, unconsciousness, being hospitalized. As soon as that happens, you're discharged from the army. I was left with epilepsy, double vision, tinnitus, and now they've diagnosed me with schizophrenia, which is part of the brain condition I've been left with.
Right.
I have a few mates with the same condition. This week, I've been pushing for help.
Mm-hmm.
I am at my wit's end. I live on my own with a service dog. I have no one. I've been pushing for the Legion to help me. This week I received a phone call from the Legion. Basically, unless I state that I am going to kill myself or somebody else, they won't help me.
That's great.
What do you think the Legion will do if I tell them on a recorded phone call I'm going to kill myself or kill somebody else?
Well, somebody will come around and section you. So you can't win, can you? And the other thing is, the British Legion, right, at the moment, they're sat on millions and millions.
I know. My mate was actually sectioned yesterday. He is a veteran. I was told this morning. Another friend who is a veteran who was left, he's with me, was left blinded with a traumatic brain injury and epilepsy. We're all the same. I got another mate who was I've been in 2 comas, mate. Simon, 2 comas. Yeah, my other mate was in a coma. 7 months he was in hospital. 5 months I was in hospital, in and out of comas. All right. The NHS the other week, it took, I was quoted 9 hours for an ambulance to come and get me. I had to get a taxi myself to get to the hospital.
Yeah.
Right. When I got there, I got to A&E. It was full of people. Now, how can I put this?
Not from this country.
Correct.
I knew it was coming, mate. I'm sorry. I knew where it was going.
Every one member that was there that was waiting to see a doctor had a minimum of 7 family members with them, sat around them, clogging up the waiting room. I sat there on my own. Fucking hell, mate.
There's somebody in here,
11 hours.
There's somebody in here, mate, says, tell your caller I help ex-servicemen with therapies. So there's somebody in here.
Man. If you could put me in touch with somebody, bro. I've this week, do you know what, all I've done this week, right, is walk around my house, punching the furniture and literally crying, right? Crying, tears flooding down my eyes. I'm 55 years old.
We can get something sorted here, mate, because this woman or this person obviously wants to get in touch.
If you could put me in touch with them, I would welcome that. And this country that I signed up, I got my oath of allegiance framed in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I got my oath of allegiance framed. I got a T-shirt which I used to wear proudly as an ex-forces serviceman. Do you know what? If they asked me to go back and defend this country now, I wouldn't.
I
literally would. My mother passed away a couple of days before Christmas last year. She left me the house I'm sitting in. As soon as I get probate sorted out, I am selling this house and I am moving abroad, mate. I have the means, I have the money, I have the opportunity to move abroad and never come back. Me and I got 3 grown-up kids.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 kids who are adults. I never see them because they won't come here because I got PTSD, schizophrenia, and I've got anger issues.
Right.
Now, I know it's coming across to your viewers that I'm angry, but the frustration is the issues in this country. Literally 3 minutes
with regards
from my
to the
house.
PTSD, right? Paz, he's got some details of who helped him, right? And I can get to you because I was speaking to you earlier on, wasn't I?
No.
Was that not me texting you? Because
I don't know.
If not, there's a guy in exactly the same position as you at the moment out there. So
right.
you're not on your own, you know. But either way,
I've got a cell number, but I don't want to state it.
No, don't say that. No, I'm just trying to think how I could get some details to you. 1 minute, let me work this out a second because I ain't the fucking most technically minded.
I'm in a real poor area of South Wales.
Yeah, I could tell the accent that you was from. Not just over.
I am English. But I've spent so many years in South Wales. It's a horrible place. I mean, I'm being honest with you. I've got literally 3 minutes from my house. There's a corner shop. I go no further than there. I won't set foot in Tesco, which is 5 minutes from my house. They're an Indian family. These people cook for me.
Mm-hmm.
They've offered to come clean my house for me. They offered to take me places with them as a family, right? So I am by far and away not a racist, but I agree with what you're saying about Sharia law, everything like that. There is no way on God's green earth that I would surrender my soul to that. I would rather die. Yeah, this needs to be understood that I would go down fighting, and I wouldn't be on my own. It wouldn't be on my own, because there is no way I would set foot into that world. It is full of hate, murder, subjugation, which is what it is, absolute subjugation. All I do, Simon, is sit here with my dog. I enjoy a glass of Jameson's to relax myself and a cigar, because otherwise I will go crazy, brother.
You don't mind if I call you off air at some point with some details for people that try and help you? Because I've taken your number and I'm thinking that I could probably, because people can network through me, I could probably at least come up with some more ideas for you, like, you know, PTSD wise and other stuff.
I can give you the honest truth, right?
Uh-huh.
I have a mobile.
Yeah.
The only place I go is on a Sunday. I go to visit my local church from 11 till 12. I'm out of the house by 10:30. I'm back by 12:30 on a Sunday. Apart from walking my dog every day, twice a day, because he's got to go out. He's a service dog, actually trained by the guy who trained the dogs on Game of Thrones. So he's highly trained. And I live, like I said, I live alone. I shop locally. Sorry, viewers. Part of my brain damage. I do get agitated really easily. It's a part of the Simon, I used to be a normal everyday guy. Right now, people won't come near me. They won't come near me. And there's a lot of us about, we're invisible. We're invisible to people. Yet, and that generation.
It's our job to try and get you some help, mate, because at the end of the day, you offered yourself up to help the country. So listen, I've got a close friend of mine that's asking to call you to help you out. Do you want to accept a call from that person?
If he does it now, yes, absolutely.
It's a she, yeah. She's a mate of mine. She helps me out, and we've helped people out. And yeah, she said, get his number, I'll call him. And I was like, cool, right.
Simon, if you tell her, as long as she's prepared for some blood, sweat, and tears, brother, because once you step inside my house, my head, there's it's a dark place, bro.
Mate, she's a tough cow, all right? She'll take it.
Oh, I believe you, brother.
Right, well, I'll tell you what, if we end this call, she'll call you now.
Right, God bless you, and God bless your listeners as well.
No worries,
God send.
Okay, no
all
worries.
Right.
You take it steady, and I'll get back up to you to find out how you're getting on, all right?
All right, brother. God bless. Bye-bye.
No worries, mate. You take it steady. See you in a bit, mate. Bye. Right, Charmed. Yes, he said yes. So if you want to get in touch, that'd be good. So there you go. This is what the channel's about. Hello.
Hello. All right, Simon.
How not too bad, you?
I'm okay. Cheers, bruv. It's thrown me a bit because that last fella, respect to him. I mean, I'm a veteran, the Royal Green Jacket veteran, and I've got my own PTSD problems, and I just know how he feels a little bit. You know, it's right. Just.
Have you had any out with them PTSD problems?
Yeah, well, I used combat stress in Shropshire for a bit. But going back to the Royal British Legion, just like, because it's thrown me a bit, because I was waiting to call you and I've gone on another tandem here. But the Royal British Legion, their big office near me is down in Cardiff. And I went down there a few times when I was fighting from a war pension. And it comes back to Islamists everywhere. They're in every echelon of society, even in the Royal British Legion. And that, I believe, that's why we're not getting some of the help we're getting, or we're not getting, I should say.
Well, also, they forgot they were a fucking charity, didn't they?
Yeah,
we'll
of course.
Keep all this money and we'll make fucking interest on it, and we'll invest it here, and fucking.
Yeah, like, and I could go on about the government. I mean, I fought in a court of law for 4 years to get a war pension, and it's not massive. I get a monthly set amount of money, and it's not massive. And 4 years, why? I had it all in paper, and it took 4 years. It just makes me sick. Like, I don't hate the army. I love the army. I love my regiment, the Royal Green Jacket. It's the best regiment in the world. But the MOD and the government kiss my fingers. But anyway, going back up to what I called up for is that Lee Anderson. He says the truth. He gets suspended, and then this whole week has actually made me reinforce what I'm thinking. The start of the week, we had the 3 girls that pretended to have a parachute on their back on that demonstration. Do you remember?
I didn't see it because do you know what? The worst thing is about driving the fucking truck is I've got to look after what I'm doing and a few others there, and obviously I'm trying to network through Discord to talk about what we're doing this week, but I don't get to see anything, so I need you lot to tell me what's happening.
Well, them 3 girls were found guilty, and I was reading like on the internet somewhere because I don't watch the mainstream, so bullshit, as you know. But I was reading, and they were found guilty, but they didn't get anything like given to them, like suspended or this or that, whatever. And I thought, and the first thing I thought was, I wonder what the judge was. And in the second paragraph, follows the religion of peace.
But of course.
So the religion, but what I'm trying to say is, what am I trying? Right.
Well, it's like in the old days, if you're a Mason and you went to court and you had a bit of trouble, a fellow Mason judge would try and give you a lenient sentence, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, like I rang up last month and spoke to you about this. You know, it's not the fact. I think the last 25 years, there's been a concerted effort by the religion of peace to get into every echelon, councillors, MPs. Look, it wouldn't surprise me within the next 5 years that some police will probably beat you to death outside your house. Who have got a beard and are quite dark-skinned, and they get away with it because you've said some hurty words, and you might laugh, but that's what's going to happen.
Well, do you remember Sadiq Khan saying we need a Muslim police force?
Yeah, well, we have down in London, haven't we?
I don't know, because luckily, because I love the original people, right?
Yeah,
I love the architecture. I find the buildings in London fucking gorgeous, right? The old parts of London. And I look at it, and that's the heart of our country, as far as I'm concerned. And it fucks me off. You know what I mean? It just, I used to, as a kid, right, growing up in Weston, like with a little seaside village, you would imagine this London as this big place, all full of lights and wonder and greatness and everything like that, and where everything happened and all the atmosphere and the moodiness and everything. And then they fuck the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, you know, and if we're going to do it without the violence, and we're going to take our country back without the violence, it's going to take us 30 years to get back into all the agencies and societies and different organisations which they've infiltrated, and now it's like the CPS. It's full of people that follow religion and peace.
I have a thought.
The judges are now starting to be the same. The lawyers are the same. The police are the same. So
here's a thought. Hear me out, right? If they go for a power grab and then they turn violent, right? At which point, they will ostracize themselves from a shadow of the public first, right? Secondly, if they go and do that, then they become a terrorist organization. You can outlaw them from all sorts of things. And then with the law on your side, purge them out of any positions of power because they can't be trusted. And they may well go for that yet, right? So while we're thinking it could take us 30 years just to push back, it may happen quicker than that. But what's for sure is the violence won't come from us.
But I don't think it'll come from them, because if as you've just agreed with me and I'm agreeing with you that they're in the Royal British Legion, they're in the council, they're in the Houses of Commons, they're in the law.
Yeah,
right. So if they're in there, have you noticed that all the laws that they're making legislation for are all to beat me and you down with?
Yeah, I've noticed.
So
that.
they're not,
because you're
they're not being
the dangerous
violent
one, right? Aren't you? Because your thoughts. At the end of the day, the fact that if you think traditionally you're a threat because you're a threat against the new thing that they're bringing in. So what do?
Yeah.
They put the law in the favor of the people that will bring about the new thing, and they put the laws against the people that are trying to keep the old thing. That's us.
Yes. So they're not going to be violent. I don't think they're going to be that violent. I think that they will be violent to us when we start going, excuse me, you can't do that, and they're going to beat us about the head, but they're going to be violent within the law. Because that's what they're doing now.
I think they might try and take over, right, and go too early. And I think that might be our only option or our only choice. I think they might try and call for Sharia law too early, right, and it get voted against. And then what you'll have is everybody in this country shit themselves and come out because they don't want that. There's going to be Muslims that don't want that, for fuck's sake. They came here because they wanted our way of life. They don't want Sharia.
So you don't think that they've took over already?
Yeah, in many ways.
I mean, they're shining things on Big Ben. They're outside demonstrating, and the common speaker and all the MPs in there shit their fucking knickers. And I think they've took over already. I really do.
I don't think,
apart from Sharia,
they've taken over areas.
But in parts of the country, it is Sharia.
Yes,
I mean,
they've taken
I
over
can go back to the 1990s in Nechells in Birmingham, and they put stickers on lampposts. No whites after 8 o'clock. You will dress conservatively, or what they say, and no one did nothing about it. So I don't mean to be depressed, or I just think that
I'm not saying that they have taken over certain cities. They have taken over certain cities. But I suppose when you look at it proportionally, land-wise, there's all the rest of the country that isn't Muslim, right? And there are these cities that are. But I can't accept that they've taken over totally, because I'm not going to accept that this country's gone. But it's close. It's getting close.
Right. Yeah, I know. Look, Simon, can I just change the subject for a minute? I know it's a phone in and it's your show, but can you keep a note of my phone number? Because just going off track a bit, I'm doing a psychology degree, and I want to get into doing podcasts with veterans with PTSD, because I suffer it as well. That's a good thing, but I need some help with what I do and channels and all that. And I just thought maybe you might be able to point me in the right direction.
Right.
Off air.
If you come into Discord, right, and the link has been put in the description shitloads of times, and get put in any second, I'd imagine. I can talk to you there, because this phone is only used on the call-ins. It never goes anywhere, because it's just one of those.
Yeah.
So come in there, have a chat with me, and I'll point you in the right direction.
Okay, bruv. All right.
All right,
thanks, guys. Thank you.
No worries.
Bye-bye.
Mate. See you in a bit, mate. Bye. Hello.
Now then, Mr. Simon Sideways. Congratulations, buddy.
Hello.
100,000 subscribers. I'm proud of you, mate.
Well, how long is it going to last? That's the question.
Thing is, mate, this is what I wanted to say. I just got in from walking dog, right? Those are 100,000 subscribers that you have earned the hard way, much. Because you must have been shadow banned and all the other bullshit YouTube throws at you over the years.
We found out today that I'm massively shadow banned, right? Because we looked at other channels of mine, and it's like you can't see them. So
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, mate, I've been following you since I reckon about 2016.
Yeah, would have been around.
And yeah, since the very beginning, mate. And I've watched Jen. I used to watch. I think, you know what? He's struggling to get this. You know, I see other channels popping up, and but you know what? I'm really proud of you. You've achieved something, pal.
Do you think?
And not only that, you're spreading the right message.
Do you think that, because obviously they're still unsubscribing people on the daily from me? Do you think that basically the reason I've got this far is because people are waking up in their masses now?
I think it's got to be. It's got to be. Look at what's going on, mate. Since all this nonsense with Palestine, I mean, I'll be careful what I say, pal, but you know, the country's going to shit. It is.
I'm worried.
And I mean, you know, the other day, it was in a way, it was like sweet poetic justice. You know, watching what went on in the House of Commons.
I loved it. I've only seen it a bit,
because all of a sudden, you know, the old saying, oh, they came for the media and I said nothing. They came for the politicians. I said nothing. Well, you know what? We've been calling it for years. People like Tommy Robinson been working, trying to spread the message about what is happening in this country. And we've been called far right, conspiracy theorists, you name it, we've been called it. But all of a sudden, the tables are starting to turn, aren't they?
I like the fact that I said that in the end the politicians should be scared because they're going to come for them. But I actually thought it was going to be as disgruntled us, but it ain't us. It's the
I've got like a small little Twitter account, and then I went online the other night and I said, you know what? I think you lot need to shut up in the name of diversity.
Oh, beautiful.
Just like Naz Shah told the grooming gangs. You know what I mean? Because it's come to bite them right on the arse now, innit?
Oh, my heart bleeds purple piss for the cunts. It really does. Seriously. I just know what I mean. Oh, you're scared, are you? No, you know, half the fucking people in Rotherham, Birmingham, fucking Liverpool, Telford, Manchester, London. Pick your fucking city.
Look, the thing is, it affects our lives. So I was a barber, and I was attacked by. I'm a British barber, obviously, but I was attacked by. They cut that, and I'm from Mansfield, and in our town, there's been Turks that have been here for years, and even the Turkish guys that have been here for years are saying they're not even Turks, mate. They're from Albania. They're from Algeria, Eritrean, you know what I mean? Afghanistan, but they put Turkish barbers above the door. And I was attacked. I was beaten with a bar and told, you stop trading in this town. You know what I mean? And that's another example of what's going on in this country. It's absolutely, it's a disgrace. But you know what? I just want to thank you, mate, because I'm really proud of what you've done. And I saw it the other day and I thought, you know what? He's earned that the hard way. You know what I mean? You've earned it the hard way, mate. So, you know, what is it next? 250K is the next big thing for you, I guess.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't expect anything. I expect the rug to get pulled out any time. So it'll be what it'll be.
On YouTube.
Yeah, at the moment it does. Yeah, I'll just set up another and just crack on again because I've lost one before. So
the thing is, you've got your base. You know, you've got your base, and that's it now. You know what I mean?
So that's why I've got like Rev on a Rant and I've got Simon Evans. They pull one of them, I'll go to the other one. So
good for you.
So good for you. So basically, what I'm saying to everybody is join Discord. That way you'll have the links to all my other stuff should I go down.
Yep.
And don't forget, join all the other YouTube channels that I've got. So therefore, when one goes down, we just go straight to the other.
100.
And then
everyone needs to smash that like button. Smash the like because it helps in the algorithm, and it's honest truth. You know what I mean? You got to do it the hard way, innit? So everyone needs to get on that fucking like button right now. Sorry for swearing.
I didn't get dragged onto any big YouTubers like streams or fuck all, right? I literally built it up one at a time. When I got to 50, I was amazed. 100, I got amazed. I did about that thing, and then the video went mental. I remember it was pinging in the truck, and I was fucking over the moon. And I got 300 subs, and I was just fucking amazed. When you got to 1,000, I just couldn't imagine it. And yeah, I'm chuffed to fuck that I have 100,000. I'm really proud, and I am really happy and thankful for everybody who follows me. I'm amazed.
Yeah, you've done well. And it's a little funny. I don't know how much time I've got left, but I'll tell you a little funny story. Is must have been back in 2017. I was cutting hair at a barber shop in Mapley in Nottingham. Now I says to my colleague who owned the shop, I says to her, I'm right into broadcasting and that. And she says, oh, well, you're like a guy that comes in here. He works for the BBC. His name's Alex. Then one day walks in Alex Belfield, and this is before his YouTube channel. So I'm cutting the guy's hair, and I'm chatting away. I says, I'm right into broadcasting and that. I like listening to the radio. I like listening to radio too. And this is before Jeremy Vine turned into a dickhead. And I says to him, I says, I write like Jeremy Vine, I do. And do you know what he says? He starts going a bit funny. Now, obviously, since then, Alex Belfield built a whole entire YouTube channel and blew up, and now he's in jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit
but the way he changed when I said to him, all right, like this, because I like a telephone calling show and that, you know what I mean? But he changed when I mentioned Jeremy Vine. I watched, and you know when you look back at something, you think, yeah.
What did
weird,
he know?
That guy, bit weird.
Yeah, I saw Belfield and I went, there's something about him I'm not sure of. I really ain't. And
it's like he fell out with me on the spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know when you chat to someone, you're getting along, and then all of a sudden you say something, and like,
and I was like, you triggered the psychopath in him. He's like,
and I was like, what did I say? Did I say something? Because I was like looking forward to meeting the guy.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I watched Jeremy Vine years ago when he started to do TV stuff. It was like documentaries, and I thought he was quite good. I had no idea he's an absolute fucking nose.
Either did I. I've even been on the show before years ago. he invited me to the BBC. I went to the BBC in Nottingham, and they paid me half a day's wages and that. And I thought, you know what? And it was about rehabilitation with drug addicts and stuff like that. I've been involved with a lot of that in the past. But yeah, the guy changed on the spot. And it was only after when I got the rest of the context a few years later, when I kind of put the picture, I was like, that's what it was.
Yeah,
that's
why
why
a reality moment. You go, hang on a fucking minute. That's why you didn't like the cunt.
And I've got one other thing to say to you before I go, mate. I really am thankful for what you've been doing with Brian Harvey.
I like the guy.
Because, yeah, look, I loved him when I was a kid. I used to love his music when I was a child. So, look, Brian Harvey, with you all the way, mate. We will get justice one day. I hope you're listening. Yeah,
so, you know, when
you've done a good thing helping him out. Just, I know the whole story. I know everything. I've even had it out with Puddick online for him. I had it out with Puddick on Twitter, and I said, "What's going on, mate?" You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny because Brian isn't what you expect, right? I expected, when I seen him as a kid, I expected the sort of person that if he met me, he fucking wouldn't like me at all, right? But when you actually talk to him, he's just a normal guy. It really is, chilled out. I mean, you know, when he's not obviously had a load of people fucking wind him up and do his
what they've done to him, mate. What they've done to him, and they fucked, because the guy was talented. You know what I mean? I'm pissed off.
Talented.
I'm pissed off because we never got to hear the music he never got to make.
Yeah.
That's what I'm pissed off about. So we're going to bring it to them all, innit? Puddick's we'll get justice against Puddick. What he's done to Brian is disgusting.
I'd like to see Brian get justice and then chill, calm down a bit, regroup, and then do some of his R&B that he wants to do. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, and the R&B and everything. The guy was pure talent. The guy could sing, and that's, you know, nowadays it's not, you know, look at what's happened to music nowadays. It's gone downhill a lot, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, just the one that he did, say for instance with what's her name, Gabrielle.
Good
singer,
banger. Yeah,
sure.
Banger. But you know what it was? They fucked him before he got a chance to move to America. And if he'd have been in America at that sort of time, early 2000s, when R&B was absolutely fucking massive, you know, the story unfortunately would have been a lot different, wouldn't it? So it's a shame. It's a shame what they've done to him. But Simon, I'm gonna call it a day there, mate, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I just want to say congratulations. I'm proud of you, mate. 100,000. That's an achievement.
Well, we got to get, because Paz is in the chat. Our next job is to get Paz to 100,000. So we've got to work out ways and means.
Paz is one of my mates on Twitter. He liked and he added me on Twitter. So Paz is a good guy. Paz is next. You know what I mean? Paz has got the right opinion. And I think I've even told Paz that story about Belfield in the barbers in his comment section in the past. So he'll probably remember. But look, well done, mate. And I'm glad you're getting some sort of recognition, because you've got to get the more people signing up. I mean, I'm a little bit in two minds about reform at the minute, but that's a whole different story as well, isn't it? You know what I mean? I've noticed a few things Tommy's been putting up.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I'd like to see.
Seems like they've been infiltrated.
What? Tommy infiltrated, or
not Tommy. He's been mentioning about Reform Party and Hope Not Hate have been getting their foot in the door or something.
I've heard stuff. I'll wait for that all to come out before I make any comment on it. But
yeah,
they're Hope Not Hate are in a lot of places, and Hope Not Hate. If you're watching, you still haven't put me on your fucking list. What more have I got to do? I've tried my best to be the biggest, horriblest, hatefulest cunt that you lot would despise, so you could put me in your fucking list of horrible wankers and ruin my fucking life. I've done my best. What more have I got to ask for?
Not hate.
Come on, stick me on your list.
We are coming for you,
please.
You're sorry, funding dogs. Your day will come. That's what I have to say to Hope Not Hate.
Well, it is
your
the
day
thing.
Will come.
I say to Hope Not Hate, put me on your fucking list. Now, they will never want to do what I want to do. So if they put me on the list, I win. If they don't put me on the list, I win. So Hope Not Hate. Over to you, love. So there you go.
Simon, I'm going to call it a day at that, mate.
All right, mate.
Well done, mate. It's nice to speak to you.
All right,
nice
buddy.
to speak to you, and I'll speak to you again in the future, mate. Well done.
No worries. You take it steady, all right? I'll see you in a bit.
Goodbye, my friend. Bye-bye.
Right, we were supposed to be doing stuff later on. Is that somebody else calling in? Why is it not ringing? Oh, it's disconnected. Fancy that. Oh, who'd have known that? Right, if you call in, sorry at the moment, I'm having fucking technical issues, but of course, I would. All right, you have to put the phone down on them. Sorry. All right, fucking thing. Why is it not connecting? Bear with. I can't answer your call at the moment because the fucking thing's not working right. Bluetooth. Let's try that. Search for devices. Not happening. I love the way it does this. Just fucks up. Yeah. The sound system has collapsed. I'll tell you what I'll do. Can I actually do that? I may well go to a little commercial break where you lot can go for a pee. What do you reckon? We're going to try something new in a minute. And then what I'll actually do is... Can I do that? No, I can't. Wouldn't work like that. I find it amazing. This thing can just fucking collapse just like that. Right, 2 seconds. We'll be without sound for just 2 seconds, all right? Typical again. But be right back. All right, let's see if we've got the audio back. 1, 2, 3. That seems to be right. All right, let's see if we can get our Bluetooth back. Something's crashed. That's just great, isn't it? Connect. Right, so the audio is fucked. Is that any better? What it did is it went to, I think, that mic. Do you know everything's going right? And this time, right, can you hear me normally, right, or not? It was better before, but of course it was. Hang on a minute. Does that sound any better now? Can hear you there, okay. Echoey. Right. Thing is, you're a few minutes behind, or a few seconds behind. And I fucking detest this Rodecaster system. Sounds okay. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to try something new. We're going to try an intermission just for the crack. Right. We'll see if that works. This Rodecaster, I will never endorse this because this shit. The old one, much better. The new one, temperamental, will throw a fit, have a hissy, whatever. Anyway, that was the intermission go for a piss thing. And, you know, as soon as you do that, you lose fucking viewers like you wouldn't believe. So put some ABBA on. What's your favorite ABBA tune? Go on, put it in the comments. Let me know. Mine was Knowing Me and Knowing You. There you go. Got a call. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
You're not going to guess who it is.
What?
I've had my American friends try to phone in all night.
Okay.
Mind, I spoke to you on Discord.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Right.
It's one of those things you can't, I can't pick who calls in. It's just, it is what it is.
I've sent you screenshots. Honestly, they've been trying to call in all night. So, stay there. Do you want to speak to them?
Well, at the moment, I'm just going to take every caller as it comes at the moment, lovely. All right. So, what it might actually be better for them to do, right, is we'll do it.
Send me a link.
Listen, do another stream through Discord and get them to come in through Discord, and I can broadcast it that way. That might be easier.
They've been watching you live all night, and they've sent me a link to share with you, which I have done. So,
yeah, well, at the moment, as you can see, I'm having a few technical issues here, to say the fucking
you're
least.
having a kind of crap night, fully drunks, but they're.
So, did you say your friends are drunk at the moment?
No, they don't drink. No, they've got guns.
Yeah, probably best not to talk about that here.
Oh, YouTube, right? Second Amendment. Okay. So anyway, they've sent me a link to send you because they really are interested in your channel.
No, it's well. Look, I'll have a quick look and see what I can do, but we'll crack on and see how we get on. All right, love.
Si, this is going to blow your channel.
Yeah,
and that's no interest. That's no what it's about. But
yeah,
really,
to be honest, I'd rather actually have a chat with them off air and find out what they're going to say before I go and put it live on air, right?
They literally want to phone you and chat to you.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, but what I might want to do is speak to them first and find out what the topic is, because there are stuff that will wreck the channel. All right.
Neutral. Yep.
No worries.
Yep,
right, I'm going to get on. I will catch you in a bit. All right, lovely. See you in a bit. Bye. Hello.
Si, how you doing, mate?
God bless.
How you doing? Listen, I've got a question.
Go on.
I'm not going to blow your mind or blow your channel or blow anything else like the last caller.
Well, nothing's going to get blown around my house, mate. You know what I mean?
Bit like police and powers as well. Anyway, moving on from that one, right? Now, if you had to be a refugee, because the way things are going on in this country, what country would you choose that you felt that you're safe, could be victimized, and you can go about your business?
Russia.
What country in the world would you go to? And me.
Well, the fact that they're making villages and towns over there geared up for what will be expats of the West. What does that tell you?
Yes, it is. Don't listen to all of. Well, I've just got my. A shame I can't put my YouTube. Not YouTube. WhatsApp. I've just got my. Finally, after 9 weeks, I've got my Russian hat come today. Been waiting for ages, and it just turned up.
What do they call those hats?
Pardon?
What do they call those hats?
Well, it's a baseball cap. No, not a baseball cap.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said a Russian hat.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. It's got Russia all over it, and it's a nice bit of kit. You'll see it on Pap's stream tomorrow night.
Right.
No, it's like I got the Trump 2024 caps as well. It's a real good conversation style when you walk around in the supermarkets.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to multitask. I tell you what, I'm going to leave you to chat for a little while. What's on your mind? I'm going to give you while I'm doing some business here. You can chat for a while.
Obviously, what's been going on with your mind as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's going on? I mean, that thing with the Parliament putting the river to the sea. They know exactly what it is. And if you've seen on Mayor Toulouse, where his name is, the things that are going on, how they're just storming into, like fundraising stuff or anything, just intimidation. It's intimidation.
Well, it's what it's like when the numbers get bigger, what they do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think it's all happened from October the 7th onwards, when we saw the protests in London and everywhere else in the country and the world. It's a show of power. The prayers on the streets and stuff like that. Yeah, like if you're a Christian preacher, you get arrested. You show an England flag, you get arrested. What the hell's going on?
We'll play a quick game and see if you can guess the answers. All right. What religion was the shoe bomber?
of the religion of peace, of course.
What about the Beltway sniper?
Religion of peace.
Footed shooter.
It's all about the peace.
Underwear
It's all
bomber?
about the peace. Yeah, what was it? 9/11, all that stuff. It's all about.
I'm going to name a few here: the USS Cole bomber, the Madrid train bomber, the Bali nightclub bomber, the London subway bomber, the Moscow theatre attack, the Boston Marathon bomber, the Pan Am Flight 93, the Air France Equibib, whatever that is, the Iranian embassy takeover, the Beirut U.S. embassy, the Libyan U.S. embassy, the Buenos Aires suicide bomber, the Israeli Olympic team attackers, the Kenyan U.S. embassy bomber, the Saudi Konoba Towers, whatever they are, Beirut Marine Barracks, the Beslan Russian school attack, the first World Trade Center bomber, the Bombay and Mumbai Indian attacker, the Achille Lauro cruise ship attacker, and the September 9/11s hijacker. That's right. They were all Plymouth Brethrens. Nope. They were Muslim.
And the thing is, if we say anything against it, we're racist. Although it's a cult.
Way past giving a fuck. Now, have you seen any shiny fucking pictures up the side of Big Ben lately? Have you seen any?
Any what, sorry?
Any nice pictures up the side of Big Ben lately? Have you seen any?
Oh, yeah.
I can't think. What were they trying to say there? From the
River to the sea. So that's, by the way, if anyone wants to be educated, that's one of these Palestinian fucking supporters. River to the sea. The river is Jordan. The sea, So listen, what you understand is that is definitely a genocidal thing, where it's about the Al Quds were allowed to do in London, the protests, and they were singing from the river to the sea, and what's his name, Khan, allowed it to happen. That Welsh guy, that apparently run over somebody and killed a Muslim guy outside a mosque who was already dead from a heart attack and got 40 odd years.
That guy went to the same school as me, mate. He was English. Western.
You're lying.
Born in Western.
No.
The guy was a functioning alcoholic that had seen his niece, I should say, part of the explosion at that Grande comment, whatever it was.
In Manchester.
And he was a bit of a nutter when he was back here, like no F or buts. He was a fucking edgy cunt. But it took a fucking alcoholic in a hire van to make a fucking statement. And he wasn't even aiming for that place. He got up to do something else. But anyway.
So what he was going to do is he went to London because the Al Quds a march had been allowed, and he wanted to find Khan and run him over. That's what he wanted to do. But prior to that, the guy screamed out for help. The policeman told him he's got his thoughts and everything.
He was a raging alcoholic, I'll give him that. But thing is, on
nothing wrong with that.
On the plus side, right? At least he's not an alcoholic anymore.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen that hooch inside?
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about that. Just before I was getting out, Christmas, I got given 4 pints of this stuff to drink, but I was getting out in a few days and I wasn't going to risk getting piss test. So I give it to my mate who was in the same cell who wasn't getting out for about another, I don't know, 12 months or whatever it was. I give it to him and fucking hell, it knocked the cunt off him.
Hold on. Right, where have you been? Where have you done a bit of bird?
Gloucester Nick.
You've done bird?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
I just thought you're a bit more goody than me.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yes.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, apparently it is something wrong with it because it's supposed to be a punishment. So we obviously did something wrong. But yeah, I was a dickhead who was drink driving all the time, and I got done 4 times over the course of it, how many years. And the last one I was driving on a ban and they went, you know what, you're a real cunt, go to prison. I went, you've probably got a good point. And I knew it was going to happen sooner or later, but I used alcohol as a coping mechanism for the situation of bipolar, right, that I didn't know I had. And whenever I got fucked up, the only thing that made me happy was driving a car. So I'd go home and get the car, right? That's how bad it was. So I was out of control and I deserved everything I got. So when I got it, right, I was like, well, you deserve this, get on with it. So there it was. But yeah,
I ain't judging because listen, when you see these people begging in the streets and people say, "Oh, just buy them food because they're smackheads or on heroin or whatever it is," right? There's a reason why they're on that. They're using that as a blocking, you know, for the pain that they've experienced.
Well, yeah.
I mean, so I can't really judge people like that. You know, everyone has their coping mechanisms, don't they?
1 second. I'm just going through because while you're here talking, I can let you talk and go through some of the stuff that I need to do just here. The guy who's talked to me from the army has got hold of me through Discord. So the plan is to get some numbers and help and stuff for him because
listen, pass him on to Joe and Dion down at the Bath PTSD camp. Right. They will give him so much information, so much leads and help to follow that through.
Okay, so I've got to get hold of them somehow.
I'll get Dan, Police Abuse and Powers, to pass you all the details. He's probably still here, and he can give you the numbers and everything. We got all the numbers, and we did the late night bet show every Friday,
right?
On YouTube and Facebook. So there's a lot of support. The proper support. I think. What's his name? He calls himself Grimsby Boy now. Active Patriots doing a live later on, I think. I don't know yet.
He's
but
bonkers,
after you, no doubt.
He's absolutely fucking bonkers.
Oh, no. I know he is, but
he's good bonkers.
Look what the work stuff he does. He's just like a proper true patriot.
Right,
which leads me on to be a patriot. We're going to go with a vote.
In touch. Sorry, Pap's going to put me in touch.
What would you do? Are you politically in limbo at the moment?
I don't have a. Well, if I was to vote, and if I could vote for the Heritage Party, they'd be the one I vote for.
I did like the reform, but I've gone off that now. That Tice is going all like tongues up his arse with Ukraine and a few other things. And what people don't know is as well, one of the chief CEOs, whatever you want to call them, for the Reform Party is from the religion of peace. What the fuck is that all about?
Oh, that's terribly diverse, young man, and obviously you're a bigot. Yeah,
I am indeed.
Oh, I've been practicing for years. He said, "Fuck off! I don't care."
Hey, my kids. I got 5 girls and 1 boy, and they're more Afghan than I am.
I like that.
Which gives us a bit of hope.
My daughter said to me, she said, "I don't think you're right wing." She said, "I think you're just centrist and you care about your country." I was like, "Really?" I thought
you've got no comeback to that. You can't really argue with it.
Fucking knock the wind out of yourselves. I was expecting her to go, "Well, I think you're quite right wing, Dad," although she agrees. I think secretly she could be more right wing than me.
Listen,
I have fuck all to do with it.
When we had the Trump elections with Biden and that kind of stuff, all the kids at the school, in secondary school, were all like voting for Trump and are talking about Trump all the time. And then all this thing about this, like GBKUXYZ, whatever it is they got going on in the schools there. The kids are so against this. They're not winning so much. I know there's a lot of it going on, but these kids these days are just like, not having it. They're not into this Palestine protest in the schools and stuff like that. We have got like a bit of a strong call. There is a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel with our younger generation.
I would think so, because they also go against their folks, don't they? A lot of the time they'll go against their parents, and they'll form their own opinions. I mean, my daughter's, her group, her friends went against the teachers who they thought were woke morons. Hang on a second. It's not racism against Jews I'm on about. It's far deeper. Okay, sorry.
It gives you hope, doesn't it? It gives you a little bit of hope.
Yeah, so I was just reading Paps, and I read badly. Not Pap, fucking Paz. And I was like, so I wasn't reading it very well there. But anyway, sorry, I'm losing my track at the moment. Fuck it. Who here believes in Richard Tice? I don't myself, right?
Nor do I. No. I did until I saw his stance on the Ukraine.
Yeah, there was something else that we can't talk about on here, definitely, but he was pushing that big time.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm politically. I was going to go for reform. I was liking their chat, the patter, and everything. But now all these little things that are coming out, I'm in limbo. I don't know where my boat's going to go. I've got to give it somewhere, and I was going to go for reform. Although I've voted Conservative for years, just to kick them in the arse. But that's gone as well now. I'm fucked. So where am I going to go?
I don't know.
Where else is going to where I was going to go in the chat?
Paz, are you off tonight, mate? Just out of interest, let us know. Yeah, well, you've got nowhere to go, as far as I can see.
It's true.
At the end of the day, I mean, Conservative are, well, they're not Conservative, are they? Labour's far left. I mean,
Labour's not Labour no more.
No,
they're both the same. And it's either a pint of piss or a pint of shit. What would you have? It's both the same kind of. That's your choice now. A pint of piss or a pint of shit. Neck it in one. What are you going to vote for?
Slow, miserable fucking death, or a fast fucking death, sliding down a fucking razor blade using your balls as brakes. Anyway.
Anyway, right. I'm going to get going. You got any callers coming in?
You're it, because you're calling, aren't you? I've turned off the call waiting because I had to, because it used to drive me fucking mental.
I was trying to get through to you, that's why I kept redialing, trying so you could sort out what was going on with your technical issues.
They'll never be right. I mean, I fixed the computer from crashing. I didn't actually. Pete did. Hello, Pete. And he was really, really, really good at it, really cheap, and did a great job. And there's going to be some backup stuff. So that was great. So this ain't crashing. But that fucking Rodecaster, every now and again, it just fucking has a flip and just won't work, won't set up, won't do this, won't do that. And you're like, fuck's wrong with you, piece of shit? Whatever.
I think we've got Paps going all right. Paps is going well now. So, I don't know, just copy and mimic his settings. I mean, what a bloke.
Yeah, I mean, he does a different type of calling, doesn't he? I mean, he does it through the computer, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm connected
How are you doing it then? You plugging the phone into your system with the audio?
This phone here, this old phone, it's connected by Bluetooth to the Rodecaster. I know.
Right, I'm going to get going. Right, so Mally wants to call in. So I think people want to call in. Nice to speak to you again.
All right, mate, you take a step.
And congratulations on your 100,000 plus.
Cheers, man. Yeah, we'll see how long we keep him, though.
It's really good to see that. Well done, mate. You look after yourself, and good night to everyone on the chat. See you later.
Catch you in a bit.
Take care, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, well, we got them back after our little crash, so the people have come back, so that's nice. Hello.
Hello, Simon.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Oh, I was living the dream, but I won't lie to you.
Great. Listen, I'm going to change the subject now onto the transgender thing.
Go on.
And my opinion of where it comes from. Right. These weirdos, these people who think that we're all women or we're fluid and we can be whatever we want. It comes from one thing in their brain, is that women build the men in their wombs. So they think that all men are made from women. Therefore, they're all female. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. Totally.
It makes sense to you, doesn't it? And that's where it all comes from. All I wanted to do was just like change the subject onto something else, because at the moment we have in Britain, we don't have a functioning government, so we might as well just ignore them. And I just thought I'd change the subject onto transgender and whether that makes any fucking sense to anybody. But as far as I'm concerned, those people, they think that because women make men in the womb from a woman's flesh, that they think that we're all women and that we're all made of women's flesh. So I think that's where that comes
It's an interesting opinion. I mean, I've spoken to a few of them. They can't they can't understand why it happened that way or why they feel that way. And they also say that a lot of people who believe they could be aren't actually. They're going through some sort of thing that they can resolve through counseling. And they actually say that when they put some of them on medication, which has an effect to their desire, the moment that's gone is also the moment that they decide that they don't want to go through with the operation and all that. So, it is what it is. But I mean, I got to be honest, mate, I wouldn't want to be believing I was trapped in a different bit. I mean, I struggle to believe that I'm trapped in a fat 47-year-old, 48-year-old fat cunt's body with wrinkles and graying hair and generally getting old. Where actually, I like to say, I feel like a 20-year-old that's just damaged in the fire. So yeah, but we all believe. I mean, I also would love to identify as being a rich, middle-aged, handsome, healthy, fucking fit-bodied cunt, rather than this miserable fucking wretch that you see before you drinking.
No, because you're fucking brilliant. Me and my wife watch it all the time. But I'm 53. I'm a veteran. I had PTSD, lost my fucking brain, wanted to fucking hang myself. My son's a copper. He fucking saved me from all that. Completely fucking had PTSD. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, because when I actually come out of that, I've seen the world in a completely different way. And I actually now enjoy the fact that I've had PTSD, come through it, got rid of the black dog in my life, and I just see my life as I'm not afraid of anything. I don't trust anything, and
you'd be right not to trust stuff, wouldn't you? Really? I mean, wouldn't you say that just life experience alone has taught you that you've been fucking lied to? You'd be right not to. Do you know? Actually, I think I should do a live stream about PTSD, because I don't understand anything about PTSD, and I'm thinking if I don't understand it, maybe a load of other people don't understand fuck all about it. So what does?
If I
give
I can just explain my little bit, I'm not going to stay long. But with me, I was just going. I'd been in the forces. I'd done my shit. I was in the First Gulf War. I joined when I was 16. I went to Bosnia 3 tours. I went to Angola. Not many people went to Angola. I was in air operations Iraq. Then I was in this Optelec 3. Came out, joined the Merchant Navy. And then it was when I was leaving the Merchant Navy, I lost the fucking plot. I completely lost the plot. My wife was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And it was an insane time for me, because I was trying to adjust, and then I suddenly seen the world for exactly what it was. And then when I come out of it, I was it was just amazing. It was like I came from a dark world of lies into a brilliant light of truth. And the more truth I get, the brighter my world becomes, and the less I'm in the PTSD and the darkness and the black dog. And I've moved on from all that now, and I just laugh, and I'm dead happy now.
Do you not find
best thing that ever happened to me.
Knowledge is the best thing for you? Real knowledge, not the knowledge, the lies they give you, but the real knowledge. Because my depression was all about not understanding.
A lot of people don't want to hear this, but for me, I got sent to the loony bin in Chester, and I had to go and speak to these psychologists. I don't know what they were, fucking psychoanalysts, and they wanted to know what was going on with me. And I went with these people. They were like a veterans association, and they took me there because I had PTSD and I was a veteran. And then I started talking to this guy about the Bible and Jesus and stuff like that, and he lost the fucking plot with me. And I said, well, whoa, my friend. I said, this is helping me. The Bible's helping me. And Jesus is helping me. I said, he's not physically in the flesh in front of me, but I'm reading what he said, and it's helping me. And then you're not agreeing with that. You're just attacking me. I said, there's something wrong here. But for me, personally, the Bible and Jesus helped me. And every day I say the Lord's Prayer, and I walk away from all the shit that's going on in the world. And it saved me, or he saved me, or whatever that was saved me. Because I literally, Simon, I had the rope around my neck. My son's a copper, and he shouted, "Dad!" And that was like hearing a voice from like 100 yards away, screaming through a dark forest to me. And I looked, and it was my son. And I was just about to fucking drop and kill myself. That's where it was. And after that, I was a completely changed person. I was like, I need to sort this shit out. This dark black dog needs to be out of my life.
It's amazing how many people get pushed to the limit, isn't it, in life?
Yeah. So. And you know what? I'm hoping tonight, me talking to you, and I may have forgot, talking to you. I'm hoping that other vets are listening, because it gets dark, and I've said to that psychologist in Chester in the loony bin, I said, imagine when you pull a plug out and it starts going in a circle. It's very slow, that little swirl, but as it gets closer to dropping, I says, that's where you need to catch them there, because if it goes into the sink.
It's amazing how many of these doctors and head shrinks are atheists.
Yeah. 100%. He would not listen, and I said to him, "Do you read the Bible at all?" And he went at me, and I was a bit taken aback. I thought, well, it's only, according to you atheists, it's only a book. How can you be so venomous towards a book?
The problem is that atheists is they find out that if it actually is true, then they've fucking done a lot of bad shit that they're going to have to atone for, and they don't want to have any sort of sense of having to do something that they don't want. It's all about pleasure. It's all about reward. It's all about me and now. And it's all about, I don't want to be told or have to be accountable for my actions, which in the Bible, if you're one of these people that does ill, then you will have to atone for your actions, right? I'm one of these that I believe in try and do as good as you can, try and live as good a life as you can within reason, because I'm only a fucking human being that makes mistakes, right? And that's it. I don't have to go to church to meet God. I don't have to pray. I just know that I have to do the right thing.
Well, I never knew any of that. And it was only when I went through my complete fucking lunacy that I realized that Jesus is a personal God, and he will speak to you in your head. And it's a personal thing. You don't need a church. You don't need a vicar. You don't need a pope. You don't need nothing like that. He sorts you out. Oh, but you have to ask for him. But yeah, when I first got promoted, right, I got this little fucking badge on my shoulder, and I felt so fucking powerful. And I called somebody a piece of shit, right? And he started crying in front of me. Right. And I was totally convicted and found guilty at that point. He started crying because of a badge on my arm. I called him that, And he started crying, and I was convicted and found guilty in my head. And I went, I'll never, ever do that again. And I felt so ashamed and embarrassed that these badges can make you feel like that. And I'm in the construction industry now. Whenever I get an apprentice who comes in, I make him feel big and strong. And I say, in a year's time, mate, you'll be a bricklayer or a joiner. And I give him as much encouragement as everything. And I'm like the opposite of what the military made me out to be, as a fucking horrible person.
Not just that, with the kids today, mate, if you give them our time on site, you won't get them back the next day. You have to go easy.
You're right, mate. We did lose a few, and that's why, you know what, maybe God did that. He said, Ian, call him a piece of shit and see what happens. And I did, and I felt awful after it. And now in future life, I would never ever do that to any of these kids. I always big them up, you know. So,
well, look, I'm gonna get on to the next one, my old mate. You take it steady and call in again, all right?
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon.
No worries,
See you later, mate.
Take it steady.
Love your channel. See you soon, mate.
Cheers, bud. Bye-bye. Yeah, don't do religion too long here, because a load of you ain't into it. I get that. You know what I mean? Hello.
Hello, Simon. How are you?
Quite chilled, actually. Had a couple of pints. And yeah, it is what it is. What about yourself?
Not bad at all. Big fan of yours. I sort of partake of your chats and listen in quite a bit. Big fan of yours. I like your monologues. You sort of chart the plight of the white man quite well. So it's a nice sort of, not quite book at bedtime, but a sort of nice reminder of where we are. Yeah, it's quite puzzling times we're in. I've actually got quite an interesting question for you. I remember you mentioning you called once, rang him actually one night. I was curious on your opinion of George Galloway, because he's quite an interesting character, because he's one of those people. He's quite easy to say the piss out of in a lot of ways, but he's got like a massive pedigree of kind of stories to tell and people he's known, and incredible life, really, and incredible experience. There's a lot he says one can agree with, and he's an amazing orator and everything. But all this stuff, obviously, with what's going on with up in Rochdale, and the way he sort of has a zero tolerance for talking about immigration, so it's quite disappointing, really, in that regard, to put it lightly. So I know you called him once in the past. I just wondered what your opinion was of George.
He has his part to play. My old man was always said, well, watch him, I don't trust him. And I was like, whatever. But he dealt with me fairly and spoke to me fairly when we were talking about that. He is a Marxist or socialist, Marxist, whatever. That is his base. And he's more about his political ideals rather than immigration, color, or whatever. He doesn't give a fuck what flavor you are, just as long as you go along with his politics. He's very clever. And as you say, with his age now, he's been all around the world, and he'll have a lot to say, and he'll have read many books and studied. And if you try to debate him, I would imagine, with his wealth of knowledge, would slaughter the average person in a debate. Is he straight up? Is he a showman? You make that decision. I'm not going to say it, but I'd have him on, and I'd talk to him about stuff and hear his point of view, because when he talks about the working man, he has a lot to say about that, and he's interested in the working man and the working man's rights, and he doesn't like the fact that the rich are fucking bleeding the working man, and for that, I like him. But I don't watch enough of his stuff, I'm completely honest, but he does get good views. And when they binned him off, what TV program was he on? They binned him off that, didn't they, right? So he just went out and did it on YouTube, and I think he gets some really good numbers. So, you know, there is a lot to be liked.
He wiped the floor with Bush, didn't he, or something? He with the Iraq War and stuff, he on the US Congress, there's some really impressive footage.
Well, that's because he's intelligent and they're not, right? I mean, he's one of these people that if you put him up against Joe Biden or Joe Biden Jr., right? Because I mean, Joe Biden, you put him up against Joe Biden, they'd be like, hey, well, what, man, come on, that'll be it. That's all you're going to get out of him, right? But there's a lot of people, if you put them up against them, you destroy them. I would have liked to have seen him debate, what was his name? Christopher Hitchens. That would have been beautiful. Yeah. I mean, Christopher Hitchens, for me, was the best debater and just slaughtered everything. And I didn't agree with everything he said, but I did like the way he did stuff.
Yeah, I once scared his brother in a lift when I was at Daily Mail years ago. I'll change the subject quickly, but yeah, no, that would be good because he was best mates years ago with Tony Benn, George Galloway, and people like that. And it's just curious because there's so much about him that I think because he'll say that he likes, say, because he clearly quite admires Donald Trump, for example, who I've grown to really admire. And he'll sort of say, and he even asked Nigel Farage, I remember when the banking stuff happened, I'll call in Nigel, but Nigel never did. Yeah, as I say, he's very zero tolerance, perhaps because he's married to a Muslim and obviously with his Rochdale into very zero tolerance on talking about immigration. You know, probably brand me a racist straight off, probably just for, you know, saying a few things about the situation. But which kind of brings me to, because I live in the Somerset area, because I'm over in Taunton, you're over in Weston, but yeah, I'm originally a Londoner, but it's amazing how it's changed down here in a relatively short space of time.
Yes,
and that
you
was
have,
always
you have a lot of very dark people wandering around the centre now, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I grew up in Notting Hill, mate. So, you know, I was like, you know, near Ladbroke Grove. So I was like Notting Hill Carnival. So I'm like, should be, and I am quite open-minded. But yeah, it's a bit shocking. It's gone from Miss Marple. These sort of little villages have changed a lot as well, which is concerning. As I say, it's just sort of changed the character so much. Even if you're not someone, even if you're someone, I would say that was a lefty originally, I would say surely you would mourn, you know, what's happened. You know, you remember those old John Betjeman, you know, movies. You know, you still see him on Talking Pictures TV. You know,
John Betjeman was that the guy that did the trains across Taunton? Was that?
That's right. Yeah, if you look it up, that's actually on YouTube.
I've seen it. I've looked at those, and I was like, "Fucking interesting creature," wasn't he, with his hat and his coat on? So.
Yeah, real maverick. That's what I was going to say. I love mavericks, and that's what I suppose I liked about Galloway. But as I say, it's very disappointing, that side to him. Because as I say, there are things I used to say when I was a lefty, when I was a young lefty, unfortunately, a few years ago, I used to love him to bits. But now, as I say, he's a great orator, but it's just that side to his character very disappointing. But I do like, well, disappointing. I mean, it depends from your point of view, but certainly with Britain the way it's gone at the moment. We haven't got many strong leaders, I suppose is my point. And it's a bit of a waste. We need good leaders. Certainly, if I'm on the right, I would say, if that's where I am politically, I would be hesitant to say that. But certainly on the side of, I suppose there's Tommy Robinson, but there aren't many great leader types around anymore. I guess people are...
I had a shock Friday night, right? Listen to what you're saying. We expect the left not to like us and certainly not agree with us, right? I went to the party pub, and there's a guy I know there, and he may well be watching tonight. Now, I was pretty sure that he was pretty far left, not far left, but like, yeah, reasonable, nice, pleasant guy, work guy, right? He's got a ponytail kind of a thing, right? And you get the impression that it would be left, right? And he goes, "Do you mind if I have a seat?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," but thinking, well. He says, "I'll watch your stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, can I get bollock in here?" He says, "I have to agree, and I like your stuff." I'm like, "What?" Not the wind out of me fucking sails. I was like, I was expecting this, you're wrong, and all this sort of stuff. And he just went, "Yep, can't argue what you're saying, mate." He says, "I'm late to the party and learning, but I am learning now." And I'm like, right. Well, that's good. Yeah, watch these videos. And I sent a couple of links to stuff, and I said, "Go away, watch that. Come back, tell me what you think." But I'm amazed the amount of people, because the pub that I go to is a lot of liberals and lefties and stuff. Yeah. And they're all coming around now, aren't they? And they're all starting to agree with what I've said. And I'm like, well, I didn't see this one coming, or I was hoping it would, but I'm a bit shocked now, which might well be also the reason that my channel is starting to grow rapidly, is because a lot of these lefties who were used for their emotions and their kindness realize they've been played, and they ain't going to be very happy. Because I do believe that there are a lot on the left that are just kind-hearted, that want the best for people. They want to be nice. They want to help people up and stuff. They're genuine creatures, right? And I believe they've been lied to.
Well, yeah, not so long ago I was, you know, but don't know if I should say this or not, but not so long ago I was on the left, because I've got some sort of, even the family going back, I was a bit indoctrinated growing up, because my great-great-grandfather was in the Fabians and knew H.G. Wells and Aldous Huxley and people like that. So I was a bit brought up to say, oh, you will be a lefty or else. And of course, all the bands I like, the Jam and, you know, all these, they were all sort of lefties. So much the Stranglers, I'm not quite sure where they were. But yeah, all the bands, they tended to be all...
I think it'd be fairly safe to say they were. In fact, I think shitloads of musicians were left, generally.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they don't question anything now. It's pathetic. Yeah, it's very hard to find anyone that does in the music world now. Jazz Coleman's not too bad from Killing Joke. He's quite fun, but there's not many around. But I digress, going off topic a bit. But no, it's just going back to the change of character, though, and strong leadership. I think definitely, I think that's where the left have sort of missed a trick a bit. That, like you say, the popular touch. I think even someone like Tommy Robinson could go out and sort of talk amongst working people, and they would feel an affinity that they're not going to feel with a sort of, I suppose, what's become the cliche of the rich lefty who sort of has the time and the money to sort of care about all these causes. It's become a bit of a joke, really. I mean, as I say, I was when I was younger myself. But you sort of live and learn a bit, don't you? And I just think that certainly the left has lost a lot of those people that really talk for that grassroots. And I think, to be honest, I mean, I'll always agree with basic doctrines like making sure working people have rights and they're not walked all over by the bosses and things like renationing railways. I love all those ideas.
Definitely.
I think you can cherry pick, can't you, from all ideologies? I mean, we need something new, and it's going a bit tits up, pardon my French, with reform.
I was talking to the socialist in the pub, young lad, idealist. Yeah. He said, and socialism would work if we all loved each other. I was like, nice, but yeah, never mind. But we agreed on one thing. Can we now, we've tried capitalism, right? We've tried socialism, we tried communism, Marxism, whatever. Can we not cherry pick the best parts of all of these different things and make something new out of it in the next whatever? Because there's a lot about capitalism that's good. There is a lot about socialism that's good, right? And, you know, communism, whatever. But yeah, so what I want is the taxes to pay for things like the railway, right? So we have, it subsidizes the railway, and it maybe subsidizes like the coal, right, industry. Because with a massive, in the old days, if we could have subsidized the coal industry, it would have actually been cheaper than paying the benefits of all those people we put out of work, right? In the long run, and we'd have kept the coal within the UK and stuff like that. But I do think that what we ended up with super socialism or super capitalism, which was capitalism for the poor, i.e. try your best, if you fail, you fail, and socialism for the rich, which is if you fail, you get propped up or looked after. And I think we need something else which is fair, which gives people who generally need help, right? Help. So we're going to get people that are generally ill, right? They need our help. We're going to have people that have come back from war that are fucked. We need to give them everything that they need because we've used them. We've used their life, right, to protect the country. So we need to give as much as we can back to them to make sure their life is as comfortable as possible, right? We need to get a lot of people who are idle, skiving bastards back into work, which means you're going to need some pretty fucking hard people. Do you remember watching Bread? Gotta get up. Do you remember that one? Right. It was Joey used to have to go in and butter her up to try and get Granddad's benefits because she was hard as fuck, right? But you will need people like that. So when somebody goes and goes, oh, I think you're not paying my benefits because you're a racist. So what? Fuck off. Oh, you're just fattest. No, fuck off. Right. And find people work. I've got a bad back. Fine, but your fingers work fine. Let's get you in front of a keyboard or whatever. And basically any cunt that's come into the country, so you want benefits. It's just funny as fuck. Have you got any other jokes? Fuck off, you're having nothing. You know, that kind of attitude. Brilliant. Gives a job. That is all.
I mean, in America, it's a no-nonsense thing. You've got a Pledge of Allegiance and you go there and you've got to add to society. And that's the way it is. It's become a security concern here. I think when people, I suppose people only really think until it affects them, isn't it? And I suppose a lot, I don't want to just call them lefties, but people, you know, that go around with their head in the air, in the sky about all this, until they're seeing the horrible attacks in their street, I suppose they don't really care. But these attacks are going up, and it's really concerning, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, we've got places in Wales and places over here where it's full of Romanians working, it's full of Lithuanians, it's full of Polish and all the rest of it working, but no white. There's reasons for this. There are a lot of white lazy cunts, right? But there are also a lot of white people who realize that I'm actually worth more than this. Now, had it not been for the floodgates being opened up, and somebody said it was Tony Blair that paved the way for this, all right? If it hadn't have been for all of the foreigners coming over here, working for fuck all, right, being exploited by us, right, then they would have had to pay the wage, right? So this is why diversity is globalist strength, because at the end of the day, they get cheap labor.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing record homelessness, particularly ex-military. I've known people that have been homeless in very recent times, particularly in the last 4 years, with everything since, what happened, the reset of nuttiness, whatever went on in 2020, whatever you call it. It's just, I mean, you're seeing like record numbers. And of course, there's never anything on the news, because the news is about, whatever it is.
GB News right now, right? We've got between the 3 channels, because I've got Simon Evans has got 48 watching, Man Up's got 97 watching, and Rev on Iran's got 1.2, right? GB News, with all their professionalism, 796 watching, and they got millions of subscribers, right? Or a million something, right? So this does it. I have to say, because I'm lucky, I just look at it and it's a number on the screen. Because if it was an audience in front of me, I'd have puked up. That's a fact.
We're not a number. We're 3 men. As the prisoner once said.
The balloon. Do you remember he gets beaten up by that balloon on the beach, doesn't he? Gets chased down the beach.
I think life's becoming that. I think it was a very clever show. Someone who wrote it must have time travelled, I think.
I will be not stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own. I resign. I remember that part.
Bloody hell, that's a good impression.
Well,
tour.
They did a tune in the 80s, late 80s. It was like it was either an acid house tune or whatever. Or was it 1990? I think it was. Yeah, because my brother had the 1990 fucking album, whatever. And it was along with Guru Josh, Infinity. Do you remember that one? Mate, if you had epilepsy and you put that video on in a dark room, as I did, the fucking room was going mental. And I was struggling a bit, and I ain't got it. I was like, I see a load of cunts throwing themselves on the floor and biting their tongue on this one. But anyway, going back to what I was trying to say is, when you do this, because you're not doing it in front of an audience you can see, you're all right. But when it comes to actually standing up, maybe one day in front of a stage in front of you lot and speaking to you, I'm going to shit my pants. Big time.
Yeah, well, it's like going on stage, isn't it? If you're an actor or a musician or something, it's the same sort of thing. Some people perform and they're fine, and other people have issues,
What was that joke?
I think moving forward,
my brother's on stage. He said, my brother's on stage. He said he fell through the cunt. He said it would have broken his fucking ankles if it hadn't been for that rope around his neck. Anyway, that's a shit show. So what I would say to anybody out there, if they're ever thinking about it, is start a YouTube channel. And then just look at the camera as, I'm just looking at a piece of plastic right now in front of me. Because if I could see you all there watching me, I'd just go red and die. Because that's how it is, right? But yeah, you could do YouTube and just do a video and then just put it out. I mean, most of my channels have been run on that. So
that speaker's cooler on steroids, isn't it, really? And kind of a cross between that and the CB radio kind of back in the old days. I don't know how you describe it really in an alternative universe, but it gets to people. I mean, if you can get your message across, it definitely works. I mean, I follow a number of interesting channels. I just like the camaraderie, the open-mindedness that there used to be more on the left. You don't see it anymore on the left at all. So it's tyrannous. So this is where I'd come for education and companionship almost. As I say, the better communicators. I think it's weird because we've got a Labour government that's going to be getting in, and obviously moving forward. I mean, Farage is interesting because he might advise Labour, and he might lead the Tories. He's got all sorts of ideas on the table at the moment. So it's kind of interesting what's going to happen. Just that if Labour do win, you wonder, Jesus, I mean, is there going to be a civil war? And because of all the, obviously with so many people coming in, it's really concerning.
I'm going to push an idea at the moment. I didn't like the idea to start with, but I thought about it, right? Imagine if we let things happen at the slow pace they are at the moment, then people won't wake up fast enough. Every day, our numbers, or the numbers of people coming into this country are growing. The numbers of people who are of a different ideology are growing, right? Now, if we let it happen slowly through things like Conservative, then people won't wake up quick enough. And by the time they actually do wake up, it'll just be a much bigger job, right? If Labour get in and they are absolutely fucking awful and they do some terrible things, then people will wake up a lot quicker while the numbers are still less. So it's called acceleration. So I'm an accelerationist. I want it all to happen faster so that this is the bad things to happen faster, because I want the numbers to be lower. So I've just had my Alan who puts all the stuff in here, like the links, and said, we've had some really good sober callers tonight. And I'm like, yes, it's great, isn't it? So
yeah, well, I've enjoyed listening.
Do you know, sometimes
I
we get some...
I was with you, and I feel your pain a bit with the local changes. And as I say, it is kind of sad walking into Taunton Town Centre. It's still got its charm, but you see people. As I say, it's like living in London a bit. As I say, because I lived in London last year, and I actually I even went through Peckham at one point, mate. I thought of Del Boy, but boy, it was nothing like that. It was. It's pretty scary. It was really lawless, and I've been all over the world. I went to Mexico a couple of times, and dangerous places, and it's pretty bloody dangerous. It's Peckham these days.
What do you reckon the Nag's Head would be like now? You know what I mean? I don't think that Boise and all that lot in the Nag's Head anymore.
No, exactly.
Yeah, even if it's open, but there it is. All right, bud. Well, look, I'll let you get on. We'll take a couple more callers, and I'll probably wrap it up. I'd have thought, because it's fucking 20 to 11 now. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Blimey, it's not the time. I was going to bring up Hinkley Point. That'll have to be for next time. It's bonkers, isn't it? It's changed the old area as well.
Yeah, just
in a lot of ways. Good and bad, but that's for next time. It's been lovely chatting. Thanks for having me on, mate.
No problem at all. You call back, all right?
Hope so, mate. All the best. It's Ben, by the way. God bless.
All right, Ben. God bless, mate. See you in a bit, mate. Bye.
Cheers, mate.
I like him. And left people. Fucking hell, this is mental, isn't it? Hello.
Cheers, mate.
I like him. All right, mate. I can hear the live stream in the background.
Hi there.
All right, mate. If you want to turn that live stream off in the background, we'll be all right then.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yep.
Well, it's strange. I said to you that the guy who was previous to me, also from Taunton.
Yeah, you Taunton people, yeah, get about a bit. You know what I mean? Hey. My old boss was from Taunton, and we nicknamed it
the Rock, the Rockery. But he's not half correct. He's not half wrong, shall I say?
Yeah.
That, Taunton has changed, and I suppose the way like Western Supermare, has changed as well the last 20, 30 years. But it's no, the chap we spoke to is he's definitely not wrong.
It's a shame, though, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I haven't. I came back in '99, back in the noughties, and it was a pretty fun. There are some nights, especially when the Della's Wharf, or it's now called the Zinc, I think, the nightclub. But it has some really, really good night outs on various different nightclubs. But and back in the '80s, it was Taunton was actually one of the top places that was up and coming. Shock horror, or some people might not believe it, but it was true. But it's a sad. It's just a sad sort of state of affairs. It's just nothing like it. And it's just, I suppose, as the common expression, it is what it is. And I used to do some work in Western Supermare, and I remember, oh God, I can't. It was a garage. I used to do some photographs of cars, and I remember sort of like stopping somewhere. It did like a bit of a ghetto, and these kids came up, and one pulled up a wacky big knife. Like, I think it's time for me to shop exit.
So you was on the Bourneville then?
I don't know what just said it was, but I sort of like I got a bit lost, and I thought, well, I just asked his kids and it was, I don't know, it was obviously not a typical.
There's 3 estates. It probably would have been Bourneville, Coronation, or Old Mixon, which we used to knock about on. But yeah, and then all those cars used to go down the seafront, driving up and down all night long. So because I was one of them.
I mean, I mean, Weston's, was a very, I think it was a Victorian sort of a haven for back in the day, and even probably back in the 60s and the 70s. But obviously, like a lot of places like that, they sort of really have sort of gone by the way. But I think for the oldies, it's a nice place because it's memories of when they were young, when they were brought by their parents. But that's on the by. Just to sort of a query, where do you think this is going with DEI and diversity, equity, and inclusive? Well, inclusive, exclusive. Should I say open sort of open brackets, exclusive to white people, and then close brackets. But where do you think it's all going to finish? Because I have a story which it shocked me, and I can't say too much because I don't want to get in trouble. But first of all, where do you think it's all going?
Badly. It's going to end up with white people so far down the bottom of the pile that we're already there. I think basically, do you remember Enoch Powell saying about us not having the whip hand?
Yeah.
Well, he's right, isn't he? We don't. But put it this way: if, say, for instance, the people who claim that they're prejudiced against and white people are bad, if they gained power, do you think they would distribute that power in the same kind of fashion that we have over here?
No.
Right.
No.
So then that would mean that we'll be on the receiving end of their vicious ire should they.
Sharia at all.
I'm not even talking about Sharia. I'm talking about pre-Sharia. But if we actually got to Sharia, you're fucked. You are fucked.
Yeah.
Because we'll have to be servants to them.
I'll tell you this story, and I can't tell specifics because I don't want to get you into trouble. Because I know YouTube has its algorithms and what have you, and also I don't want to get myself in trouble. So I won't obviously give my name. So I applied for a job. I unfortunately lost my business due to COVID. And so I've been doing a lot of agency work. So, but I did apply because I'm pretty. We have spoken before, by the way.
Sorry, could I just interrupt you? I've got a nutter in here, right? That's got a channel, and he says, "Why won't you talk about your job, Simon, as a truck driver?" This guy, he says, "Reverend, you're not a real reverend." Obviously, you thick cunt. Oh, you don't tell him about your job, do you? All my videos come from me driving a truck, you fucking weapon. Listen, go and get some help. Stop picking on Brian. There you go. Sorry, mate.
No, that's right. That's right. So basically, this is I did an online job, and it was for analyst kind of job for the police, and it wasn't for the Somerset police, but it was a bit further down of the 2 counties further down the southwest. So I won't say any more. Anyway, so I went on sort of a line. I went to the questions, and little red flags start to sort of, shall we say, come up. I don't mean on sort of looking at a line, but obviously in my head. And basically, the first small red flag came up was I was going through. It was coming right to almost like 2/3 way down on this sort of the multiple choice questionnaires. And the first small red flag was that, do I watch, am I follow BNP? Was that British National Party, is it?
Yeah.
Do I watch right-wing YouTube channels in the UK as well as the US? I was thinking, I thought, I shook my head and I thought, this is, I thought, I'll proceed on. I think I don't know. I think I prefer not to say. So you are allowed to sort of say, I prefer not to say. And then also you get to sort of your sexuality, which, as you know, in this society is so right down the bottom. Right down the bottom sort of was the sort of heterosexual, white, but had all these sort of questions. And then it when I clicked the white heterosexual part, it then came up another question. So this is the police that I was applying for. I just need to sort of remind a lot of the breeders. And the question came up was that if you wanted to now there's no bullshit about it, Simon.
Right.
If I wanted to transcend to a different sex, they will give me the time and the money to transcend to another sex. And I literally, I thought I was in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. What sort of fucking company am I applying to here?
This is the police, and I was literally sort of blinking. I thought, do I need to smack myself in the face to sort of think,
have I died? This is heaven. No, this is hell. What am I?
I really thought I was all like, that was at Netflix Black Mirror, which is like kind of a modern version of the Twilight Zone. But it's I just couldn't believe. And then I sort of, I think, prefer not to say, so I carried on. And then sort of saying about LGBT, you need to do training with LGBTQ. And then I had to sort of, once you're going to diversity, equity, sort of inclusion to tick the box to for that thing, I thought, no, I've had enough. It was just.
Well, can you imagine what it might have been like to work for them?
And the thing is, though, Simon, is that, and I hopefully, I've made a lot of sense to some of the people who are listening in, but I think, and this is my only assumption, and I'm just a few years older than you, but I think as a white man, Christian, and I suppose Christian atheist or whatever, but I'm a Christian, but I'm not practicing. I don't go to church every Sunday. But I'm sort of a straight white man. And I do get the feeling with these institutions is that I am sort of Damien from the Omen, the Omen series back in the 1970s with not Cary Grant, was it? The guy, I think it was the Guns of Navarone, the American actor.
Never watched it, I have to say, but yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, going for jobs is not exactly ideal at the moment for you, then, is that what you said?
Well, I mean, I think as soon as you get involved with Human's HR department, I think a white man, straight white man, is Damien. And this all about sort of diversity, equity, and inclusion and inclusivity. It's not inclusive to white people.
It isn't. At the end of the day, they want to tick all these other boxes, but there it is. Anyway, buddy, there's a load more people trying to call in at the moment, so I'm gonna have to get them on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Have a good evening.
No worries. You take a stage. Cheers for calling in, buddy. All right. See you in a bit. Bye.
Cheers.
Oh, well, the comments are good, aren't they? I'm enjoying the comments. That's the problem. You're watching the comments and you're actually doing this at the same time. Oh, God. Is he still going on? Bless him. You want to listen to that guy talk. Hello.
Hello.
How are we?
Not too bad. How's your evening?
Oh, well, it's not like an evening down the pub, is it? It's kind of a bit different, but yeah, it's all right.
I want to talk a little bit about preparedness. Because obviously earlier you were talking about the how to talk with other people, right. And I ran a little bit ago.
Did you say preparedness?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. As in what sort of prepared? Like prepping or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So if you were starting from scratch, what would be the first thing you'd do?
Obviously food and water.
Yeah.
And then get a little bit of financial security.
So this is the thing about financial security. We save up money, okay? Then it goes to a digital currency. We're only going to be allowed to draw out whatever they say. So that money then becomes less useful, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, as much as it does get bashed on, there is crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that crypto is perfect. It obviously does have a lot of shit going on with it, but it's probably one of the best things that we got going on at the moment. But
I don't trust it because I think that, like anything else that's digital, it works on faith. And if they wanted to, they could just, I think, destroy any sort of record of it. Now, I know you have a purse, is it, or a wallet or something like that, which you keep your proof of it. It is based on trust and what somebody says it's worth and all the rest of it, but there's no actual physical asset. I mean, much like our currency nowadays, it used to be based on gold, didn't it? I promised to pay the bearer and all that, and that's gone. But all of this is based on faith. And if somebody in bad faith decided to pull the rug out, how would you have a way of retrieving whatever that was worth? This is the problem we got. And I mean, they're trying to do away with currency so that we can't have that. So we're kind of fucked.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with fiat currency, but...
Well, we're in that. That's why our system's got to collapse, isn't it?
Yeah. But, then after that, I'd probably look at communication stuff, like what you were talking about earlier with one of those other callers.
Yep.
And there is... I don't know if you've seen the videos on YouTube that's popped up recently, but there is Meshtastic.
Not heard of it, no.
It's basically completely off-grid, doesn't need cell service or Wi-Fi or anything like that.
Right.
And it's essentially like ham radio, but it's like text only.
Right.
And it's encrypted, and it all works in a mesh network, which there's people that are better than explaining it than me. Yeah. I'm a bit of a retard with that, but
I don't understand it myself, so yeah, I have to look into that. But I think networking locally, speaking, whisper in the ear, that kind of stuff, right? I mean, say for instance, I come up to you, whisper in your ear an instruction, so your phone in your pocket can't pick it up, right? And then you go and have to do the same. That's going to be all we're going to be left with, because everything here can pick up on everything I'm saying. Your phone, even though if you pick up somebody else's phone, will give up you as a person, because it will pick up on the barometrics of your voice and know that you are who you are, which is why they could, if they wanted to, find terrorists on a burner phone, because you're literally, there's so many different parts to your voice that they can pick up: your weight, your height, your size, your rough age, and all sorts of other stuff, male, female, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think literally networking, because when it comes to it, if we're in a 15-minute city, you're not going to be able to go very far anyway. So you'll have to pop across the road and speak to your neighbor. But I think by the time it gets to that most of the people in your village are going to be on board, and people will know the grasses. And yeah, they don't do very well, grasses. But yeah, so tin food, rice, pasta, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
dried milk
stuff. Freeze-dried food's way too fucking expensive, to be honest. But I mean, if you've got the money for it, then why not? What else? I mean, obviously learning skills.
But I mean, if you live in a city, right, and you can't get out because they put 15-minute cities up and you just can't get out of the place, then I mean, Luke here, he's into prepping. He says get out of the cities, but obviously there's only so much countryside you can go to as well, right?
Yeah.
And with satellites, they can look. And if you're a farmer that's had a dead cow, right, and then you go and throw it in the slurry, they'll say, what happened to that cow that was in field? And they'll give a rough grid, and they say, it was there for 3 days. We know it's dead. What have you done to it? Where's your papers to show it's been disposed of? So if they can see that about a farm, then they will see other anomalies and changes to the land. And I think there's computer software that can do that. So a perfunctory search across with a satellite will show up if people from the city have decided to start showing up in the country, which is a problem. Because I went through all of this thinking about just fucking off to the countryside and just living there. but it's not doable. We've actually just got to stay and fight. So we're kind of fucked. But I would say prepping in case there was a food shortage is a good idea. But other than that, I think that the plan is just to stay and tough it out. If you ended up in the countryside and you got caught out there, you know, you don't know the countryside as well as you know your local area. It's just a thought, but yeah. So what part of the country are you in?
Gloucestershire.
Right. Well, you got the new, not New Forest. What am I on about? Fucking, what was it up there?
Forestine.
Yeah, that's the one. I knew it was a forest, but I couldn't remember which fucking one it was. Yeah. I mean, apart from all the natural fucking, the hills have eyes up there, you're all right. But yeah, I mean, the worst kind of the worst, I suppose you could go there. But my plan is to stay put. Not just, well,
yeah.
You know.
I mean, I'm planning on, because I'm unfortunately in one of the cities.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly hard to choose where.
No.
But yeah, I just can't be bothered. I've noticed the enrichment.
If it's where I think it is, I drove through there the other day and I was like, "Fuck happened to this place?"
Oh yeah, because it's been like that for a while. So
yeah, I was there in 1999 for a few months. Yeah, it's changed. So, but there it is.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think I'm gonna wind up the stream because it's now 11 o'clock and I'm gonna go over to Discord and have a chat with people over there, I think. So yeah, if you got the link, come over and have a chat with me in there. Otherwise, you can call back in next week if you're interested, buddy. But
yeah,
I'm gonna jump off.
Have a good one.
Cheers for calling in, mate. All right, see you in a bit.
Right.
Right. Let's pull that down. And I'm gonna say thank you very much for all coming in. Especially you, my special followers. You know you are. Okay. Put the link in, Rev. Right, okay, we'll get a link. Alan? We could always get that Kim Pillock to come in, tell me exactly what his problem is. Oh, you didn't talk about Brian Simon. Oh, idiot. Right. Okay, well, there it is. Thank you ever so much for coming on. We would have gone over to the other thing and talked about stuff that we couldn't talk about on here, but it wouldn't set up properly. So there it is. And as I can't see, I'm just going to double check before I do fuck off. I can't see many lives up at the moment that we haven't already crashed once before. So I shall say thank you very much. And I'll see you over in Discord.